I don't know about that one, actually.
I'd probably lean it a
this
bit more towards HONORIS, given the first map.
Really? I actually think Galaxy Racer is favored to take. You know what? Loopbet, our pals over there, are right smack dab in the middle of us, while we've got Galaxy Racer running down smack dab mid. Reiko missing a few shots down to his short, and they're looking to overrun on their T side. Galaxy Racer moving in quickly. No shots landed so far, but it's a T side to break first blood and continue to do so. CT's bleeding out on the ground and around. Dazon coming in with more, but it's Reiko to save the day with 2 of his own. Taz trying to blink through, missing shots while Reiko on the sideline will fall, and now Taz will join him in the afterlife. Galaxy Racer up and around initially, despite a few good heroic attempts from Reiko.
I think it goes to show the preparation that went into the pistols in the Fate vs Galaxy Racer game, considering both of them went for A-sided plays and they both went for A-sided stacks on the T and CT side respectively. And this time, Galaxy Racer just overwhelmed the defense over at B. Made sure that the rotation was going to get cut off by a flanking player as well. Well, HONORIS, the expected path, they force bought into this to see if they can get a bit of space to start off this game.
Oh, Blassen's moved through. He's got 2 beautiful things to start things off. And in the meanwhile, Stomp is the one with the scout trying to get something in response. However, it might just be HONORIS backing off and even choosing to save. I wouldn't really mind that, to be honest. Just, you're not winning this round. Try and take these guns forward and see if you can, make something work in the next one.
Yeah, no kits, no real utility to threaten a chance, but Neo gets a shot through the smoke. There's a nice little Hail Mary to accomplish. The bomb, I'm not sure, depending on where that player died, could certainly blow back through middle as a result of... the AK, rather, could blow with the bomb through towards mid, down the connector. So I'm wondering whether HONORIS will even keep that in mind. Actually, it'll be just a Galil now, so that's... a bit of sadness, and I don't think HONORIS are even really going to chase for that endeavor. Keep the weapons that they have, like you said. Keep some of the armor available as well, and just see if they can get something done or get some production out of the Scout and the Deagles in the following round. A good start, though, for Galaxy Racer, already hitting some very good opening shots on that side, which I felt like they missed quite a fair bit of opening duels. On their T side in particular. It felt like they were given some of these chances, but the aim just wasn't there, so... Definitely warming up, I feel like.
Indeed. Let's wait to find out, though. As we have got ourselves a minute and 40 left on the clock. HONORIS. They're just creeping forward. Galaxy Racer. At this point, all you're worried about is, hey, maybe those Deagles come get me, so Galaxy Racer have slowed things down, going for the execute. They had quite a bit of success with this before as well, but now with Molotovs flying through, their CTs are positioned very nicely for a few good headshots, but not quite kills. Taz gets a P250 shot in, but like I said, can't quite finish it off. And now it's all about Galaxy Racer's most dreaded nightmare. It is the flank, but this time it's caught off, but it catches out Blessen regardless.
Yep, a rifle can now be attained by Prism. Still a 4-on-4. Again, no kits, no real threat to the bomb site as the time is ticking low, but still trying to do as much damage as possible. Raiko is still lingering by. He has no weapons to really save, but with Prism getting dropped as well, that's actually a net loss overall. And, I mean, there's no real reason to hold onto the Scout other than to continue tagging these players down, try and make sure they go down with the bomb, and they actually almost line up for... It could have been a bit of a clip in its own right, but they'll keep 4 up on that T side. This is where we get to see. Relaxa, he's not going to have the AWP, opting for the Scout. He could definitely afford it, but treating it as a slight bonus round. Of course, now Stomp's on his own AWP, so we'll see if he can get some production out of it now that HONORIS are on the guns.
The CTs at this point have got to be very careful and they don't use that last Molotov, those last flashes too early on, because a minute and a half in and HONORIS could very quickly find themselves completely dry. Blessed unfortunately drops down while he's being boosted up, and with that, although there will be a fight, are they doing it on purpose? Maybe this is on purpose, I'm not sure. But anyhow, with that being said and done, it is going to be HONORIS who are still in the advantage. They've actually got a decent bit of information, but the missed shot is going to be very important. Stomp will actually give up a chance to Blessin to come in and take down Taz. In the meanwhile, Dezen as well just swings out, and Stomp's uncharacteristic miss means that they are so far gone within the pecking order because they just can't choke in the T-side players who are trying to come in from A main, and as a result of that, Galaxy RACER will find their fourth.
Yeah, some good speed there from Galaxy RACER. Good recognition as well that because that player was at the ticket booth with the ult, they could get a bit more distance towards the site before the CTs could really stop them. You know, trying to get a little bit tricksy. Obviously, a team that gets too tunnel visioned and hunting him down could have definitely left themselves susceptible to a ninja defuse, which it seemed like he was kind of poising up for. But either way, Galaxy RACERs maintain a steady stream of rounds on this T side, and they are building it cash, which is crucial now that HONORIS had bought up in that previous round, now having to subject themselves back to these half buys. This is a really solid start from them.
Oh yeah, Blessin, despite having a decent spawn, couldn't quite follow through with the initial kill, but he will at the very least take down Neo. And with that, it'll be a quick little mid-take, and it seems like HONORIS will be saying goodbye to their skin very shortly as well. Doesn't seem like they have much of a chance with the bomb still very much in the back lines. Galaxy RACER, they've done a very good job so far of finding their initial footing. The question is, can they now continue onwards? HONORIS, if they start to delay their utility a little while longer, Galaxy RACERs are not really going for early sorts of aggressive plays. They're largely just waiting for the CTs to make mistakes.
And I love that we get to see Mirage back-to-back from Galaxy RACER, because we can see the disparity and the change that's come through just by playing a different team and resetting a bit. Taz, I'm not sure how he quite gets away with that frag. Does survive on low HP, but could soon be taken down. Dezen is hot on his heels. Reika's found one as well. Through the smoke he'll go, and while the threat has been dispatched of. Yeah, the fact that we get to see them back-to-back on the same map, we can see just the difference in their T-side default. Because Fate, when they were on that CT side, were getting so aggressive and constantly pushing Galaxy RACERs in, it meant that they slowed things down so substantially on their T-side that it felt like they were executing or getting in towards sites at sort of the 50-45 second mark at the sort of the earliest. Now, because HONORIS, of course, don't have that lead that Fate had coming into this, they're playing it still slow, still making sure that the CT side have to make mistakes for them to find these frags, but they're at least identifying where the CT setups are a little bit earlier. And while they don't quite recognize that Neo had the AWP in window to start things off, there's actually a secondary AWP on field as well. HONORIS with the full buy, the early advantage. Galaxy RACER trying desperately to get the frag right back.
Ooh. Flashes fly forward. Relaxa. It's got to be careful that HONORIS doesn't just creep through connector while he's paying more attention towards window than anything else. However, HONORIS have no intention of getting aggressive while they have the advantage. They're happy to let the T side do what they want, and the T side may have just played into their hands, Yumi, because they've got no more utility left other than just a smoke on Relaxa. Galaxy RACERs, now that the CTs have let them make their mistakes so far, have not really showed us too much in this round. Neo comes in with a beautiful second shot through the hairline angle as well, and it leaves Dezen alone. I'm very optimistic for the Galaxy RACERs overall on Mirage, because obviously, like you mentioned before, we saw a bit of a renaissance from them. However, let's also not forget that this was a team that looked like they had a very empty playbook. So when you walk into a slightly more difficult situation where, you know, the CTs have their full buys and the CTs are very calmly hitting their shots, it becomes a lot more difficult. And speaking of very calmly hitting their shots, it's Taz who does that. Well, we've got Neo who's going for his full Zera impression. He said, you know what, I was also the best player in the world a couple of years in a row. I should be able to do this too, Valve.
Yeah, not going to quite be the jumping double, but some good timing shots from here from Neo. When he gets flash, just pulls the timing perfectly on Relaxa to get them that first CT side round. Yeah, I do agree that this match will certainly be riddled with its own trials and tribulations, but getting off to that nice early advantage, getting that early gun round, having a 5-1 start, the onus now falls on HONORIS to recover. While that secondary gun round for them does show some good signs. This is a very aggressive angle being taken up by Reiko. He doesn't have backup.
Oh, gotta be careful because Relax on the other side and Taz has already been brought down. Taz was hoping to take the first point of contact, but unfortunately he just took the bullet and backs off. Relaxa will now reposition, and Reiko is also falling. Relax is so well aware of their angles when they get aggressive into A main. He knows exactly how they'll be playing, and now what looks to be a late execute onto the A bomb site could come through and completely dash any hopes that the CTs have of winning this round.
Yeah, silver lining that they have is that Prism is locked out the B bomb site, so there's no chance that this is going to be a rotation back, or else Prism should be at least good for a couple of frags that direction, but Galaxy Racer are setting up for the execute. There is going to be the majority of the HONORIS defenses left on the site, but a 5 versus 2 on A is not looking the best. Still grinding quite a lot of time off of the clock. 35 seconds is when they'll pull the mark, and now this execute sails over. A lot of pressure on Stomp.
Oh.
Stomp's done well to get 2 there. The first one was easy, the second one a little bit quicker, but now we'll try and dial it in. Prism, the flank, there it is, 2 kills. The third, not going to quite be lined up, but missed op shots around the world. Neo will finally take him out with the USP, and HONORIS get their second round. It looked dire to start, but some crucial shots being hit by Stomp and Prism.
Well, you know what? It might look dire at the start, but I'm sure you'll find yourself some crucial time to be using over on Hellcase as well, which is the biggest and most known case opening website with almost 100 cases, which, by the way, is more cases than Valve has released, so Hellcase is officially better than Valve. Updated case battle, upgraded dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique features. You won't get bored with Hellcase. Use promo codes to save more and grab what you deserve.
Had to throw the shade at Valve like that, real quick.
I had to. You have to do it sometimes. Come on, Val. I need more skins.
The partners really do be doing a good job on that front.
Yes, indeed. Taz knows exactly where these players are because of the grenades that have been thrown forward. He doesn't have any assistance, but he doesn't need it for the first kill. The second one could have maybe used it, but hey, he's fine with a 1-for-1 in that position. 1 minute and 15 left in the CTs. They are... Actually, I was about to say they're happy with that, but everyone's super defensive, so you don't really know what the T's want to do at this point.
Yeah, severe lack of information. Like you said, just so spread out on the CT side now. Means that should Galaxy Racer depend or go for a push towards the A bomb site, it will come down to these individuals. Still a fair amount of time to grind away. Now they'll use some utility, flush these players out into the open. They identify where Raiko is playing from. He's got some reinforcements now at the very least, and Neo holds the cross. Oh, what a peek there from Dezen. Comes in from the right side, eliminates Neo off of Catwalk. They do again have this flank here from Prism, but given the last round, they should be aware of it.
Well... Right now, Tabs is waiting for the peak to come forward from CT. Freddy Frog as well. And Destin's the one who's a little bit out in the open. Freddy Frog will find Prism in the meanwhile. Reiko tries to swing out, but Tabs is the one man you're not getting past. It will be the 6th round for Galaxy Racer. And despite a few rounds slipped away here or there, they've still got plenty of space to try and work around with. And, of course, because the previous round went as close as it did, now you're getting into precarious purchasing territory for the CT side. HONORIS They're on MP9s, they're on Deagles, they're on not a lot to write home about.
We've got the double up setup at the very least, and Stump's been hitting some shots when they have been presented to him, so I think it will be about whether they identify it here on Galaxy Racer fast enough and whether they can circumvent it. But I like the ideas here from HONORIS. Again, going for a little bit of aggression towards the A ramp, and if they should take this away from Galaxy Racer, they are postured and poised up for more of a B lenient default. This could get interesting should Freddy Frog get overwhelmed.
Well, question is, will he get overwhelmed? Well, Stomp's the one who's going to go down first and foremost. He's not had a great game so far. Freddy Frog as well will be able to get one, and the Molotov will assist him in slow cooking Reiko down to be feasted on later on. Neo on the AWP did have a nice little round earlier with some timing shots, but at this point, he needs more than just timing to win this one out. Will be backing off, but does he realize Blessing is right next to him? He does now. Blessing trying to fire through the smoke. Will have a few bullets catch on the body, but can't quite finish off the kill. Prism reveals himself by shooting out. Will not get the shots at all. Will fall at the end of the day, and just a small kill before he does.
This is where I want to kind of pick your brains a bit about what's your idea or what's your thoughts on sort of scrimming before you play official games? Is it beneficial? Do you think it's more of a hindrance?
The problem is that there are different levels of official games, realistically. If you're a team like, let's say, Gamer Legion, who are, if I'm not wrong, currently playing in 2 or 3 different tournaments, you have officials every day. So it's not like you have an option. Now, if you're a team like, for example, Galaxy Racer, who've not really got many officials to play, and you're realistically going to have maybe 2 match days a week, at least until the ESEA leagues come back, in which case you maybe have 4 match days a week. But if you're having 1 or 2 match days a week, you don't want to scrim on those match days.
Yeah.
If not, then yes, I say you absolutely scrim before, probably even after, depending on what the timing is, and just make it work.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment of things. Don't want to oversaturate or exhaust yourself just playing over and over and over when you're basically doing that anyway.
Yeah. Tabs will be taken down initially. Taz got very aggressive early on, and he will find the AK as well. Unfortunately for the CT side, their advantage is temporary, as it is very quickly brought back with multiple kills from the terrorists. Taz and Prism both with AKs in their hands. Actually, no, Taz has passed the AK to Prism, who does have Kevlar, so it's understandable why, but they've got to make this work, and they've got to find something. They'll have money to buy in the next round regardless, but they're getting into murky waters, as HONORIS will not have a buy, or, well, it won't matter if they have a buy, they just won't have the rounds.
Yep, securing the half advantage here for Galaxy Racer. The reason, sort of bring up that point for those that are sort of not keeping in line with our strain of, or track of thinking, is that Galaxy Racer look a lot better now that they've played this the second time around. Just better spacing, better pacing overall as well. And it seemed as though that could be something that could get ironed out in scrims if you were playing them before official matches. But I can understand it, wanting to exhaust yourself that way.
Well, more than anything else, it's also, you don't want to psych yourself out. It's that, hey, if someone wants to play some FACEIT, some ESEA, some just anything at all to figure out, sure, that's fine. But don't psych yourself, because going into a scrim, if you're a team like Galaxy Racer, the other problem is that you're going to find yourself in a scrim group where there's a lot of different teams who some are just going to be better than you by a lot, but you won't know their name, because that's just how variable the scrim groups in Europe are. So you could just be demolished going into an official, and then your entire form is affected, your entire play is affected. Reiko going in aggressive early on in mid will remind me that my casting is affected if I'm not talking about the game itself. So starts things off with a quick kill, and Stomp will try and return some more fire towards the terrorists.
Yep, Desmond's equalized the affair. There's still no smoke towards Jungle. It lines things up nicely for Prism. Reiko gonna try and pick up the slack in that position. Desmond for now has again found a bit of space for the C-side to operate off of, but now this push from Neo, that could be it. No. Still finding frags. Desmond, how does he get all of those kills? Still Reiko comes right back to answer with 2 of his own. 3 for him in the round. But it was back and forth. There were some great individual performances from both sides to make that such a closely contested round.
Galaxy Racer so far looking very good on their terrorist side. They look pretty good against Fate as well, in all fairness. I think their T side was much more solid all around. However, obviously, CT side left something wanting, and I have a feeling their CT side is also going to be slightly stronger this time around. HONORIS, however, they are not having a comfortable game so far. They're not really able to find control anywhere without giving up a kill at another point of the map. Even when they're getting early advantages, capitalization on those becomes a little bit difficult. But now they have a chance to bring it all back. Because Galaxy Racer, they've got themselves no money if they lose this. And their loss bonus isn't really great either. So you could very well see this being the turning point for HONORIS. However, they've got to win this round to make it happen.
A really slow round from either side. Seems like there's a bit of a plan to meet the Galaxy Racer's presence at top middle, should there be a bit of control through in that direction. The Galaxy Racers are omitting it. Just A-side presence, B-side presence, leaving mid wide open for now. It does seem like they've settled on one of these targets. Neo gonna make himself over towards the apartments. He's gonna get really close up and towards the apartments as well. So if Tabs clears this could still be a very 50-50 fight between these two. And if the entry's there from Tabs, this may actually fake HONORIS out.
So Neo's peeked out, and Tabs will find him immediately. So suddenly HONORIS, they start to get worried because their players trying to go for a flank while the T's are already in on the bomb side. Reiko nades out. Blessing's trying to find him through the smoke, but Reiko comes out on top of that duel and denies the bomb and goes for more. Reiko has single-handedly won this round for his teammate, but the round is not won yet. Relax is coming in from behind. The aim-in player is not going to be there in time. Tabs is given some backup. The bomb is down. It's a 1v2, and Tabs is the man you want to have in it.
The reposition from Tabs. He holds the crosses. Tabs tries to make his way in towards the site. Crucial frag. Crucial missed bullets on either side of the coin. Some great movement on display here from Tabs, but he repositions once more. Trying to line up the spray on the bomb, but he's missing each and every shot, and they're sticking it. Stomp, he's on it, and he can't quite hit the shot. He kills Tabs, but not the diffuser. Stomp gets away with it, and the AWP. Another round here for HONORIS.
And look at that play from Reiko.
Yeah.
He just takes control of the stairs, makes them his living room. Beautiful stuff all around.
And it's one of those things, like, we didn't get to see too many executes from Galaxy Racer the first game, or the first series of the day in this group, but there's no stairs smoke. There's nobody even really holding for a plant in that position, or that can support and stop Reiko from making that play. So whether utility was missed,
they went for this one once before as well, actually, in the previous game. I don't know why. They don't throw the stair smoke. They just throw jungle smoke. You're right. I just realized when you mentioned that. It's very odd.
Yeah, and they're severely punished for it in this round. Albeit.
Maybe they're just overly reliant on the Palace player to actually get the kill and are hoping to keep the smokes for the post plant, I guess. Maybe. I think that's a terrible way to go about things, but hey, I'm trying to find some logic.
Yeah, whether it was miscommunicated, whether that's the intended game plan, or maybe somebody just doesn't know the stair smoke, which I'd find very hard to believe.
Maybe jungle, I believe. Stairs...
Ain't no
That's
excuse.
literally the easiest smoke.
Yeah, I think I learned that one in Silver 4. I think that's about where I lined up.
So yesterday?
Wow. Years ago. Anyway, fast play towards the B site by Galaxy Racer. First kill's going to be there. It's a quick exchange between the two sides. Taz trying to remain elusive towards the back pillar. He has teammates to support, and they're around the smokes. They don't quite land and hit the mark, but Descent, he's finding kills with the Deagle. It's suddenly just Stomp in a 1-on-3 with an AWP to retake. Not ideal here for HONORIS.
This is not the round I thought they'd be faced off against, but hey, Galaxy RACER have raced to the finish line for this round very quickly, and as it turns out, the shots that will be fired out won't really be hitting anyone. Very similar to an actual race course, which is where the gun shouldn't be hitting anyone, at least, hopefully.
Yeah, you're ending me in a weird mental story right now, but
Stomp will take down Pleasant in the meanwhile, 1 versus 2 while he's being hunted. 9 HP on him isn't really particularly reaffirming, but the smoke should give him enough space to be able to keep his AWP alive. And there you have it. HONORIS move forward without much weaponry, so the saved AWP will be incredibly crucial, as will the entirety of this round be. I wouldn't mind seeing them going for a tactical timeout to decide whether to buy around it or not, though.
Yeah, it's a difficult decision to make. If they take a leaf out of the Fate book, then they just leave the AWP and get some armor and some utility. And hey, maybe they were watching from afar. That was the round that Fate ended up winning to bring that series to a close. Well, we're seeing a stairs smoke lined up this time round for Galaxy RACER, and it does seem like A is the intended target. Just depends on when they pull the trigger here, because there's only a couple players in close proximity to deal with this. Neither of them is this AWP, but that Molotov towards triple, that could cause a few issues. Taz burning alive, has to reposition. I think they should know where he is. Yeah, Desmond finds the kill, and well, the A-bomb site fully under Galaxy RACER control.
Stomp should probably be saving the AWP as well at this point. I don't think are they on a 3,500 loss bonus?
They didn't be, I don't think.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out in a second. We didn't find out.
Yeah.
Okay, but hey, they have a buy. That's the point. That's the important point. And they've got a buy with quite a bit of utility, so Stomp saved AWP will be coming into play at the very least. 4-10 is already a pretty dire scoreline. Letting Galaxy RACER get to 11 would be even more daunting to come back from. Unfortunately, when you've got only 2 Molotovs and Galaxy RACER have been prioritizing this execute-heavy style of play, you need to go aggressive early on. And so far, although their aggression has sometimes found kills, the spaces it leaves open on the maps are very quickly exploited by Galaxy RACER to get trades across the map. So, excited to see how this round goes.
A lot of spam and a lot of control. HONORIS had an idea to start things off. They wanted to get aggressive towards top middle, but there was nobody there on that T side, and it does seem like it's a fake play. They're trying to get HONORIS to over-rotate. Given the advantage, you could certainly see the line of thinking, but there's the fast play from Tabs. It's actually a double bluff. I think Tabs is left as the sacrificial lamb. Now the execute comes over towards A, and look at the rotations now from HONORIS. They're leaving that B bomb site primed and ripe for the taking. If they find the kill on Prism, this could be it. This could be it done. Freddy Frog, there it is. He gets the kill. He can get this bomb planted, and his teammates are repositioning for the after plant.
For a second there, I was wondering why there's no stair smoke again, but hey, the bomb is on the B-bomb site, which is a pretty convincing reason. Freddy and Reiko trading frags. Relaxa on the AWP is left alone. Now he will immediately turn it to 1v1 and knows where the last player is. Reiko's incredibly low, and it will not matter because Relaxa has a beautiful flick of the wrist. An 11th round has been acquired for Galaxy RACER. Fantastic call from them, not at all looking like the same team we saw earlier.
Yeah, a very, very interesting call to make for the last round of the half, but they get HONORIS hook, line, and sinker. An 11-4 half. You're saying that they start to look a little bit better on their T side in the second half in the Fate game, but now that we move into their CT side, that's where they were riddled with issues. You could see our partners over at LootBet seem to favor Galaxy RACER. You can understand why they're playing a lot better now that they've found a bit of stride here on Mirage. It seems to be, I don't know if it was just alternating between the two, but either way, I think it's definitely favored in Galaxy RACER, especially if they win this pistol.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see how exactly it goes. Smokes go out, flashes are there as well. And now it's all about this pistol round stack, which Galaxy Racer has gone for time and time again. It's not really netting them too much because Prism's just tearing them down. However, Tabs and Freddy Frog have found themselves a nice little crossfire, and Prism's left alone. He was the one to find 2 kills. Can he find 5? And it seems like no is the answer.
That patient play there from Freddy, making sure he got the 1 tap initially. I don't even think they knew where he died from. I kind of assumed that there might have been a gap above the stair smoke, or there was just a player that had found the kill from a distance. Because nobody really trained their eyes on Freddy immediately after the frag. But yeah, that's one of the win conditions for this map. They take the pistol, they continue to accumulate these rounds, and there aren't too many that are left. HONORIS need to find some Hail Marys or get these gun rounds in as fast as possible. Else this turns into, well, we just have to look at Vertigo.
Well, Tom. Oh, actually, Tabs is creeping forwards. Let's see if he can find something, and it is Reiko who's tagged down pretty heavily. Daz will go down with him. Daz on to clear things up. This is a very clean anti-eco, and although, of course, it were just Glocks, and you do expect that as well, it's refreshing to see. However, it also looks like Galaxy Racer sort of lost the previous round because their buy is very much all over the place, and they don't have a single M4. So there is that too.
Hey, I mean, if Dessen is hitting the shots that he's been hitting throughout the game so far, he can do it on a FAMAS as well. It's about the same. I'm still an advocate for the FAMAS burst.
I don't know what to say, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry life is like that to you sometimes, but hey. In the meanwhile, we're going to have Freddy Frog getting a little bit aggressive with the smoke of his own to go back into connector. Tabs as well, waiting to see whether he can put that FAMAS to good use. But right now, it's just nades going forward and HONORIS being damaged.
Not maintaining control in towards middle or Galaxy Racer. They at least have a player spotting for boost towards the ladder room. Any sort of sneakier plays that may come through. So far, so good. They have mid. They have that in their grasp, but Stomp's been taken out. Now Prism's caught between 2 mines as to which to clear, but Dezen, although he'd found the timing, cannot capitalize on a frag. Good damage done to both of those players in B. Still an equal set of exchanges to start things off, and the bomb still hasn't made its mind up yet. I think it's making its way back now towards the A side of the map, and Prism's still wreaking havoc over on the other side.
4v3, and do I have some time to talk about a smoke? No, I don't. Okay, well, I'll do it afterwards. I'll do it afterwards. Because right now, it's all Relaxa and his scout. Can he find the shots? It doesn't seem likely as nade flies through. And Tabs will be the one to get the kill instead. Reiko, in the meanwhile, is good enough to catch off Freddy Frog. And now, despite the T's being low, their advantage is absolute. And their advantage will be capitalized on. CTs can't quite finish off the weakened T-side players. And that'll be that. Galaxy Racer now could be... I wouldn't mind seeing them ecoing again, to be honest. But before I hear your thoughts on that, the market window smoke that HONORIS threw over there was from a similar position to where you traditionally see it thrown from a corner. But the way they lined it up was significantly better because the arch of the smoke, instead of being the normal like 9.5 or something crazy like that second, it was roughly around half of that. So that's just a really nice variation on their typical smokes to see. Meanwhile, Tabs will find a quick kill as well.
Yeah, now you're going to have me looking through the VOD afterwards just to find this optimized window smoke.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm always looking for improvements, even if I sparsely play the game as strategically as that.
Hey, the market window smoke is the one smoke everyone knows.
Yeah, I know. But mine takes so long to land.
Oh.
Tabs, though, he's fast with his hands. Doesn't give much of an opportunity to fight back on the HONORIS side, and this is getting spookier and spookier. The bomb needs to be recovered. They've got a minute left on the clock to establish a foothold on either of these sites. Tabs still in the connector. Reiko, an isolated duel. Another frag for Tabs. Oh, he peeks out. He wants more. He wants to take Taz out of the round. His teammate there on the other side, they had a semblance of a crossfire. Taz is doing a good job of isolating those duels. Prism as well brings things back, but there's Dezen. He brings it to the 1-on-2. These weapons can be recovered on the CT side as well as Taz goes for the plant. So this is getting very, very spooky.
1v2, Relaxa. Looking for a dropped over weapon if he can find it, but he's found information which is almost as valuable because Freddy Frog instead will be the one to come in and finish things off. Galaxy Races, these 4-spy victories, you know what? HONORIS probably should have scrimmed before.
I mean, they played a game. They did play a game earlier.
They did. In all seriousness, though, jokes aside, HONORIS dropping those 2 players early on to these awkward smokes and these awkward angles is one of the reasons why you always want to have someone there to refrag your players in an anti-eco, anti-4 spy round. And this was very much what should have been an anti-4 spy round, even by HONORIS's, best of estimations. So them being caught out like that is incredibly deadly, and it's honestly incredibly worrying for any HONORIS fans, because that's the kind of round that breaks your mental completely if you're a younger player.
Yeah, I think it's at least fair that the first kill goes the Galaxy Racer way, because Tabs, I think, just spams through a smoke at a timing.
Yes.
So that's the excusable frags, but the ones that follow afterwards, 100%. Yeah, just grouping up together certainly goes a long way. The playing has gone out really slowly on the HONORIS side this time around, and with Tabs getting so many kills in the previous with the Deagle, fancied his chances at taking the round by the horns. Instead, he's the first to fall. HONORIS can regroup themselves and use the numbers advantage to take this A bomb site.
Well, Relax has found one. Prism is good for bringing it all home, but Relax's angle is excellent. The problem is the flanker coming in from behind, and he is getting flashbacks to the previous game. While Dezen, he will be able to bring it back to a 1v1, make it much more doable. Bomb still not planted, and that nade will do nothing but reveal the fact that, hey, Reiko's not touched. Reiko, nice flashbang over, uses it to get behind triple, and Dezen is very curious about where he's going, because I think he may still think that the bomb's planted behind triple. Now he's got to know his default instead, though, and by the time he turns around, Reiko will have found him. I think that flashbang, when he sees that coming over, he didn't quite have enough time to see the trajectory of where it's coming from, so he may have thought that the bomb's planted for triple, and the guy moved back to under palace.
I actually almost think the other way around, weirdly enough. Because he didn't see the arc of it to start, and he gets hit by it so aggressively, I think it makes sense that you expect a ramp or a palace play. But I think it's just really good timings at the end there from Reiko. Don't know, that's definitely one you watch back in the demo, which is done more correctly. But in the heat of the moment, still a round that HONORIS are going to take under their belt. The double ops now for Galaxy Racer. Relaxa, we struggled to see it earlier in the day. Really do hope he starts to perform on this weapon now that he's given those chances earlier on. Strange that it's not in Tabs' hand, considering that he was, or hands rather, considering he was doing so much work with it as well.
Tabs, however, has maybe gotten a little bit too aggressive at this point. They've relegated him. Yeah, you just sit back at this point. So, Pleasant, meanwhile, finds himself a kill right there. Freddy Frog, while dropping, will have noticed the player, but will he have seen him out of the corner of his eye? Neo's just getting very busy around the pillar. Will find another one. Relaxa keeps things going for the CT side, but now it's just 2 AWPs against the AKs, and they have got to be careful because flanks are coming over.
So many missed AWP shots on the Galaxy Racer side. And Reiko, he's looking to wrap Freddy from behind. There it is. They convert on the B-bomb site. Now Relax has to try and pull things back. Could have eliminated Reiko earlier on and as a result of those misses, it does come back to haunt them. He can get things going, though. He has to get a couple of flashes as well, but has to be able to find these angles quickly and sharply, and it's very hard to get the pace right with the AWP.
RACER creeps forward, but Neo is the one who catches him off and takes him down and out. HONORIS. It's a long road. It's a long road.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say, because until they get 11 rounds, because even double digits is difficult. See, the issues that they've been having are bleeding out kills in situations where you realistically should always at least be traded, and then the trade doesn't really very often come through. Even the previous round that they won was off the back of, like you said, a plethora of missed shots. These aren't reliable formulae. So even double digits, which is where you normally say a team can look to start coming back, while Prism finds himself a multitude of eco kills, even double digits might not be enough. HONORIS need feasibly 11 or 12 rounds before we can start to say that the comeback should happen. Now, Dazon, all right. That's the other side of trigger discipline, boys. That's when it doesn't work.
I respect it. I do, but we've been there.
Are we seeing a replay of that? Oh, okay, never mind. I thought we were going to see a replay of it.
If they could sell Heartbreak in a can, I think that would be one of the ingredients, at least. Nutritional information pending and all, but Galaxy RACER back onto the rifles. This time they don't have the AWPs. They've been a lot better on the rifles today in general. Oh, and Taj is aggressive as we try to get a grip. Compose.
Sorry, Heartbreak in a can. This sounds so silly. It sounds like the most disappointing restaurant ever. But hey, it's Rico to be tagged up early on. Relaxo's got on a scout out. They've been very keen on their mid aggression, and Stomp and company have been very good with continually punishing it. But at this stage, it seems like the CTs no longer want to. Ooh, how has Blessing moved across? Blessing is potentially just going to walk into this crosshair. Or Stomp is going to move back and... Oh, I think he heard it. I think he heard the knife. Did he knife the wall? That's my question. Or was it just a spectator thing? Really nice flashbang comes in. Dazon is ready though. He's got one and he knows he can't reload, but he pulls out the smoke and that could be a mistake. He's brought back the M4 back in time and they've overthought this, but Stomp somehow finds the jumping P250 shot, leading it into a 3 versus 4, and the full rotation back towards the A side is coming in. HONORIS has made the most big brain play you've ever seen, and somehow or the other, Galaxy RACER are not going to be able to draw this round together. It looked like they had that.
Yeah, they were in such great positions to stop that. They had this pincer maneuver in the B apartments. That kill from Stomp, it might be random, it might be just a bit RNG, but it was so critical to allow them this rotation in the first place. That is ridiculous. I can imagine he has gotten the shock of his life as well. That player just comes around the corner.
Dude, you just see that, and that's just one of those shots where you need a new keyboard afterwards if you're an angry player. Dazon at least will be able to save the AK forward. CT's once again on an eco. And the other thing to also keep in mind is, yes, they lost around when that ridiculous P250 shot comes in, but we missed a lot of random shots going in. Over towards mid, Relaxer's missing his shots with an M4A1. The M4A1 loses duels because it's just slow. It doesn't lose duels because you're missing shots with it. That's the one thing it has going for it.
Yeah, one of the most accurate rifles in the game, right? So,
yes.
Provided you get that initial burst correct, you're golden.
I mean, by accuracy, we mean the bullet will go where it's pointed.
Yeah,
we're not saying you're good at pointing it.
If that's only how the gun stats work.
Totally. Meanwhile, though, Galaxy Racer have found themselves around like this before. This could be one of the ones where HONORIS start scratching their head, wondering what went wrong, because there are 3 players on this B bomb site, and they do have deagles and some important, very lethal pistols. The A bomb site, in the meanwhile, has Dezon with the AK, so either site has threat of pop-off and threat of the T side being popped off this round.
It is oh so quiet. Now the nades will add a bit to the sound cues. Killing from Raiko. The second, he has been honestly so on form this game.
Yes.
He's been hitting so many sharp shots. He might even get this rotationary player implicit. No, not able to adjust in time. But now the hit comes in towards B. Oh, Neo almost gets caught out by the close angle. Stomps there to bail him out. And well, the round is wrapped up. Raiko selling the fake with some really sharp shooting. And double digits secured for HONORIS as a timeout now finally called by the CT side.
Raiko and Prism have been the 2 shining lights of the T side, or, just generally of HONORIS' side. They've had a grand old time just cleaning up certain shots that I personally thought they wouldn't be able to get, because there's been some wild angles that they've got out Galaxy Racers on. One thing to note in that round, though, is that we could have still seen HONORIS lose. There was a few missed shots with the deagles while Neil's jumping down. And obviously, it's a very difficult shot to land. But despite the fake coming out towards A, HONORIS didn't actually manage to force rotations back from Galaxy Racer. And I don't know if that's more a logic of, hey, maybe you can just save these deagles, rather than, hey, they might still be coming B. But in case Galaxy Racer has now started to get a hold on this double-digit redo plays that they're liking to make, this could be really dangerous now that you've got yourself the double op setup out as well. So a fast short set of smokes has been thrown, but it's actually 3 people towards B short.
Oh, Tabs with the AWP. Oh, it's missed. Raiko again with an entry here for HONORIS. And that was the dedicated A player. They'd lent more towards mid and B. This might actually just be a quick call to save once again here for Galaxy Racer. They need the money. They need these rounds, and this is not the way to start.
Yeah, they should be goodbye. Very much so.
It's been really commendable to see HONORIS playing these sort of mind games with Galaxy Racer as well. The fact that they're going for these sort of riskier fakes, and even though they're getting close, like you said, like the previous round, HONORIS could have very well lost the round. They're trying to make it as difficult as possible for Galaxy Racer to get a read on what they're doing by just changing things so dynamically, it seems.
Galaxy Racer, however, with their 4 weapons saved and with their really rare B-side setup. The funny thing is, so the reason why it's even weirder to me is because if you just looked at the utility that the T-side is throwing, that's the correct play to make. Because the T-side is throwing the short rush ladder room occupancy smokes. So Galaxy Racer having 3 players towards B short, that's perfectly reasonable. However, HONORIS is just throwing those smokes as a fake to keep the mid player occupied long enough that they can't rotate back from mid and B short, which gives them enough time to actually hit the A bomb site properly. So, there you have it.
Oh, so close. 3 more rounds separation. Of course, with the save weapons over from the last round on Galaxy Racer, they are building a little bit of cash. They've got some in the reserves, but still certainly not ideal for rounds to follow. I think they are actually on max loss, right? If I'm not mistaken, considering how well HONORIS have brought with this halfback.
Oh, flashbang goes over. Making sure there's no one pushing up B. But this time they've gone for 3 on A. But at the very least, the window player will be able to rotate back in a timely fashion. And there's a minute left on the clock. So I quite like this from HONORIS, all in all. they're keeping Galaxy Racer guessing, and although Galaxy Racer themselves have felt brave enough to actually move forward with 2 players into A main, there's been so many situations where HONORIS themselves have, oh, that's so good from Taz. Taz hears the smoke coming out, and now he knows that if he wants to be throwing any sort of distractions, he needs to go back and play from Palace, because that means that smoke at this time generally means that there's one player who's going to be playing up close to it. If you've not sent anyone in mid, then the CTs will either aggress all the way up mid, in which case the TV room guy will spot him out, or they're going to just hold passively in mid and get aggressive on A main instead. So Taz, now it's his time to shine over there, while rotations will not be here in time. Plesson's shots will be, though. He's got to. He's fighting for more. He's keeping himself alive, and Dessen, who's on the bomb side, undetected, might be able to finish up these last 2 players as they drop down and drop the bomb as well. Storm's AWP can chime in with 1, but this has largely been Plesson, who's just completely outplayed them and now has been sent out of that server. However, Freddy Frog is still there to clean it all up with a nade.
That is what a great play there from Plesson. Getting those 2 kills slows things down so much on the HONORIS side. They made the right call. They were using the right utility, using the right information to push the rotations on that CT side more towards the A bomb site. So everything lined up from there, aside from Plesson. They couldn't track down that trade fast enough, and by the time they deal with him, it's just far too late. A great individual performance, but it was seeming like a good read from the T side. Just a couple lacking trade frags really did just cost them.
And now Galaxy Racer, they will be remembering the time when I said HONORIS need 12 for me to say that the comeback is probable, but maybe they don't want to let HONORIS get to that 12-round mark, as Plesson finds a gap in the smoke, creates a gap in the smoke, more like it, and finds 2 kills. Yet again, he's propelling his team potentially across the finish line. Now Neo with the AWP scoped in onto his angle might get a chance, but Plesson will still come in with another. He's so aggressive, he's finding everything, and now he knows where that last player is. Taz, stuck in the top of mid, doesn't have a chance to win this round, doesn't win this map, and hell, at this point, he may as well just say goodbye. 10 points of HP left. And there you have it. Should be game over.
Yep, there it finally is. What a big step up from Plesson in those last 2 rounds to bring Galaxy Racer that win on Mirage. I mean, I was getting behind the hype behind HONORIS. They were doing such a great job on that T side, bouncing back in a very significant way. I mean, it just seemed like they were bamboozling and out-masterminding the rounds, like very well orchestrated on that T side. But then just Plesson shows up and just says, "Nah, you're not getting close enough. Not today."
Honestly, fantastic stuff from Plesson. Reminds us why he's the one who's been closest to the sun of Swedish Counter-Strike. Obviously, did have his stint in a couple of teams here and there, but really nice to see him chiming in towards the very end to propel them across the finish line. HONORIS had some great moments. I even thought that the round where Plesson initially got the 2 kills was incredibly well done from them tactically, and they showed us a lot of depth on their T side. Unfortunately, that was just too late, and Galaxy Racer, a completely different performance from what we saw up against Fate, and they will be able to win out the first map. The question is, can they close it out on 2? This was, of course, their own map pick. The next one coming up for us will be Vertigo. Make sure you tune in again for that one. We'll be back in just a few minutes. And we're back with Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. And we may not have seen a complete showing of gaming excellence in that first map, but it was a gaming entertainment at the very least, and that is excellent. So in a roundabout way, we get there. Now we have also in a roundabout fashion gotten to Vertigo, a map which, like every single other map in the map pool, is one that we don't really know much about for Galaxy Racer, but it is the one that HONORIS has picked at the very least.
Yeah, I think if we're going to take any sort of excellence away from that first game, it's the fact that Galaxy Racer seem to have hit a stride and have warmed themselves up for the game of play. A lot better showing for them on Mirage, considering the start to the day that they had. But yeah, I'm with you right there. Vertigo now is a bit of an oddball coming into the series because I expect, given that Galaxy Racer have very few the times played it and seen success, HONORIS are likely to push this to a 3-map series. It's hard to sort of push against them in that regard.
Well, I'm checking HONORIS' recent records on Vertigo. They lost to SG Pro 9-16, and that's quite poor. But they also went up against neck to neck, and when I say neck to neck, I'm saying giraffe neck to giraffe neck because that went to like 7 overtime, so it was a 27-31 scoreline. So, slightly unfortunate one. That was actually back in week number 4 for the Malta Vibes, and before that they've had a few back and forth games. I think very largely what their Vertigo comes down to is whether or not Stomp is chiming in, and although we've seen Reiko and Prism have their moments, I think Stomp's not really quite been around in the same way that you'd like him to be. So I'm curious to see how exactly they adjust. I'm curious to see whether or not Stomp can come in to his own as the AWP player, because he's definitely going to be very needed for this win to come out.
Yeah, I think sort of like looking at the statistics, I wasn't expecting too much from Prism. It's fair to say that last game did very much impress in terms of the amount of control and just information he was giving his team. So especially with Vertigo, when you've got these sort of dedicated anchor players that are willing to take those risks and potentially win you rounds just by gathering that information, I do believe that he'll be a pivotal point, even if he's maybe not fragging as hard as some of the other players, or even fragging as hard as he was on Mirage. So yeah, I'm very sort of biased in that regard, in that I love Vertigo as a map, but I also love seeing very strong anchor players. I have like a tier list. I have AWPers, anchor players, then rotators, because I feel like rotators always get the spotlight because they're always in the right place to take the fights and potentially swing rounds.
Who's your favorite anchor player for Vertigo in the tier 2 scene?
Oh, I would probably put it on Surreal.
Okay.
Either
fair enough.
Yeah, I think he does a really good job of sort of mustering the strength to push alongside players like Robin when they want to get aggressive.
Yeah, Surreal is very good at getting aggressive over towards B. And that's where a lot of the congestion might be coming in this game as well. Let's also not forget that despite Galaxy Racers having lost quite a few maps and quite a few games on Vertigo, we also have to remember they're a newer team. So keep in mind that kind of increase in qualitative skill when you're playing a map that will come in for a newer team is much more rapid than an older team. So if, for example, these guys have never scrimmed Vertigo together before, they're probably going to suck on it. But you throw in literally 3 or 4 scrims and suddenly you've just seen them getting 80% better than what they were before. So as far as the level that they should be at, we don't really know. We've seen them take a couple of teams very close. We've seen them actually contest pretty strong and pretty closely with Backed, and they recently also beat Level Up, both teams who have significantly skilled individual players, I would say. But at the end of the day, this should be an HONORIS win, at least on paper. Unfortunately, this paper is old, dated, it's rusted away at a few points, and we can't really read what's on it. So what we have to do is try and pick up pieces from the surrounding, really clue this together in a detective book. And the first piece that we've got to talk about is Relax on the AWP, because he's going to be equally vital to bringing this one back. Yumi, talk to me a little bit about him and what we can maybe expect from Vertigo.
Yeah, it's been hard today for Alexa, I think, in general, because it's been difficult to get him on an AWP where he can work his own pace. But I'm with you in that I think he'll have to be as influential as Stomp will be on the CT side of things. He may not pick it up on the T side. It's one of those where, in the same way as Nuke, there's a very easy litmus test you go through when you have teams that play the map actively, whether it's in official matches or not. You can identify whether they're prepared for some of these sort of one-way smoke, some of the angles that might come through, especially towards the A ramp on Vertigo. You can very easily tell if teams aren't prepared to sort of shoot above the smoke, where there's so many often one-way or opening engagements that are found in advantages for CT sides.
I think for CT, for me, I don't even know why this is, because they're the simplest nades in the world. For CT, for me, what really determines is does the CT team know the retake or the anti-bomb plant nades? Because those are so incredibly strong. And that's also the mark of, if you're a viewer at home and you're wondering, hey, how do I tell if a team's actually played Vertigo a lot? Look at their T side. If they fake the bomb plant initially to bait out utility and to bait out grenades, or if they just plant on the right side instead of on default, that's a team that's been naded down a million times in scrims. They've played Vertigo a lot. So there's these little telltale signs that you can try and look over towards, try and figure things out for. So, you know, if you're sitting at home, little mind game for you guys to play with your own selves. Now, with that being said, the other player who I think we've got to keep an eye out for is going to be one that maybe shocks you that I'm about to say this. You're probably thinking, yeah, he's going to point out Tabs, young talent. You know, he's going to point out maybe someone like Dezon. Yes, Dezon. I was trying to remember. I was trying to remember. It was Denon, so Dezon as well. But no, I actually think Freddy Frog is going to be an incredibly important player, because he was missing so many different shots on Mirage with the AWP when he was given the secondary op, that at this stage, while we see HONORIS has won the knife round out, so they'll be able to decide their own side. At this stage, if Freddy Frog is missing those shots, if he's given the resources for that secondary op, or even just with his rifle, then we're not going to have a very fun game whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of perplexed me when we got to see him on the secondary op, when we knew for a fact in the first game of the day against Fate, I think it was Tabs wielding the secondary. So
yes,
it exchanged hands. Maybe it had more to do with the positions as opposed to anything else, because I think Tabs was the dedicated A player. They wanted a bit more presence towards B, because I don't think Relax was able to rotate quite fast enough to show that presence. I think it will come down to a lot in the positions from HONORIS on this CT side, or rather Galaxy RACER, sorry, when they do end up on that portion of the map.
Well, listen, and we've got some warm-up warriors going on over here. HONORIS really looking to say, hey, we know we lost before, but we're ready and warmed up already. There you go. I have mixed feelings about people who kill me in warm-up while I'm AFK. I don't really like it very much, but you know what I do like? I like a friend. I like a partner, and that's what we've got on your screen right now. LootBet, our partners, our betting partners, giving us your odds. Once again, very 50-50. We'll have to wait to see which way it actually swings.
Yeah, a slight advantage given to HONORIS in that, for the reasons we've given, the fact that they play this map a little bit more. Oh dear. Oh, that's not a good sign. Galaxy RACER, a missed smoke to start things off. Stomp opens up with a frag as well in the pistol, and that was a pivotal point for the execute, it felt like. So now what do you do if you're Galaxy RACER?
Rush B. You think I'm joking, but it could be an actual thing that they end up going for, because they've got mid control, and that's something to keep in mind. So the CTs on the A site will either have to back off very quickly or aggress forward and get full ramp control. It seems like they're stuck in the middle though, and this could be a mistake, as now they aggress, but Dezon will be trying to catch them off. In the meanwhile, Dezon turns around to avoid more utility, gets two beautiful shots in, and it's Stomp to come in to be the only person to find a kill. Still a 3v3, and the CTs on the B bomb side have gotten aggressive, but the bomb has been dropped. Taz will be taking the duel soon enough. Relaxa chimes in, but he realizes there's two players there, and he's getting confused. Taz will be able to take advantage of that and brings him down. It's all left to Tabs in a 1 versus 3 after Dezon does a lot of the dirty work. Unfortunately, can't quite bring the round together, and it's left up to his teammate.
Yeah, that bomb is nestled in the bosoms of the HONORIS players. It's not going to be an easy one to recover. These angles that they've taken up, the information given as well. They're all going to swing alongside the flashbang tabs. Finds a duel to start things off, but there's the trade immediately. Stomp with 3 very important kills for HONORIS to take the pistol. A lot of that did stem from the missed utility. You tried to mitigate, all those years' bad luck by breaking the glass, but by at least hitting the smoke. But it's all just bad luck from there. At least a good effort from Dezen to try and make things at least a bit more contestable.
Yumi, I really appreciate that there are times when you sound like someone from the 14th century who's about to call me a harlot. Because the way you just said, oh yes, the bosoms. I enjoyed that. I did indeed enjoy the bosoms. But Galaxy Racers, they probably didn't enjoy that too much. Relaxa could have actually come through with a quick kill. I think he would have maybe even landed that shot. He's been very good individually outside of the first few rounds of today that we've casted him. But I think he would have probably landed that shot had there not been 2 players lined up in front of each other. And even there, it's a verticality that really messes with it because of the fact that it is a big old ramp with a very large gradient. So a little bit unfortunate, but HONORIS are able to start things off nicely despite the 2 players who were given up needlessly. And Galaxy Racer, hopefully they can, pat themselves off, dust themselves off and say, it's okay, we missed a smoke, it happens, and we'll be fine later.
Well, Neo takes the angle to start things off with the FAMAS. You can see a lot of respect given on the HONORIS camp. A lot of rifles brought through, not so many SMGs. Raiko, another frag. It doesn't seem like they're really trading all too successfully. Trying to grab weapons off the ground as Relaxer, so those are easy kills to find. And yeah, it seems like they'll get away with this one pretty scot-free. Freddy's given a chance to make it a bit costly, but no, everybody stays up for HONORIS. So the respect given with all of those rifles invested, no real issues in terms of keeping those into the following round as now Galaxy Racer come in with the buy.
Again, typical CT side problem that it looks like you're on the force buy rather than the other team. But the good thing for HONORIS is that because of how many times they've not had to rebuy Kevlar, they can actually buy up even if they lose this round pretty well. So Flexen, he starts things off very strong, gets the early entry frag as Stomp got overly aggressive, and now Galaxy Racers are en route back to relevancy within this map.
Oh my goodness, okay. I didn't think the spam would do that much damage so quickly, but Prism will try and make up for it. The MP9 for Prism, 3 kills. And although Relaxer spams him down, they've lost the brunt of the aggression towards A.
Raiko even finds an AK for himself, so if they want to go up alley, they've got another thing coming for them. Raiko's been able to isolate the bomb yet again. Dezon has been cut off. The flashbang will be moving out. Dezon completely blind. Raiko's being very careful of either angle, but does he realize where Dezon is? Does Dezon realize where Raiko is? This is all just a game of Where's Waldo, and neither one of them can find the red striped shirt.
Hiding in plain sight. There is Dezen. He's privy to the fact. Clears the angle. Neo left to clutch things back. He hears the footsteps. The smoke will deny a bit of vision, but Dezen hits the shot once more. It seemed a bit separated towards the middle of that round. The Galaxy Racer, they rally behind some very crucial shots from Dezen. But I mean, Prism, what an effort for there on the MP9.
Well, Galaxy Racer, this time it's HONORIS to have a disconnection on their side, but Galaxy Racer, despite giving up 3 kills to an MP9 with 1 magazine, reminding us why the M4A4 doesn't have the best spray pattern in the game.
I mean, the MP9 is arguably one of the best guns in the game, so cost effective.
And the only reason why it's arguable is because some people just don't know how to make arguments.
True.
So, the MP9, of course, the supreme weapon of all beings. People don't know this, but the reason why Thanos actually found all the Infinity Stones in planet Earth was because of the MP9 as well. It just gravitates more and more power towards it, and that's why, you know, they all ended up there. Makes perfect sense.
Yep, that doesn't sound canon to me, but I don't know enough about the Marvel universe to dispute it.
Yeah, I am an authority. Galaxy Racer, though, in the meanwhile, they've got themselves full utility and HONORIS. Although I said they'd have a good buy over here, they do prioritize head armor over utility, which might be a question mark moment for now. But after they got wallbanged down the way they did, maybe it's more excusable. Gabs finds the early kill on the Taz regardless of any head armor, and it will be the advantage for the T side.
Ooh, good damage nade on towards Prism. Bit of spam thrown by Galaxy Racer initially, but they suspected that the player would be on the corner. And now it's just about slowing things down, seeing if our HONORIS look for information. They're Stomp looking for a peek in towards A main. Still so much time to make a decision here, and they're showing a bit of presence in towards middle. This will divide these A-side defenders. It'll be very isolated fights for these T-side players to be able to take advantage of. Neo's come in to support in through mid as well, so this actually may turn things around. Neo, they're able to get a quick refrag. Freddy, they know where he is, but he's pulled out with a nade down to low HP, so HONORIS very, very feasible now that they come back away with something in this round.
Stomp's position is going to be completely game-changing, though, if he can just land his shots. Now, he's not feeling confident in getting aggressive, and with all the nades and smokes in the world coming his way, he doesn't have much of a chance to do anything. There are no utilities available on the HONORIS side to deny the bomb from being planted, and although they do find a quick kill while it is being planted, still a 3v3 retake with AKs on the other side, not comfortable whatsoever. Freddy Frog as well, just watching for a potential flank. It's Relax and Pleasant doing a lot of the dirty work, but Freddy Frog is already dead. Immediately through the wall, he has fallen. Pleasant will need to peek out soon, but Relax is already down. Pleasant can't find the spray in the smoke. He thinks they're faking it, and it will just be the straight defuse to come out. No kit needed, and somehow or the other, in a 4 versus 3, Galaxy Racer can't clinch it out.
Yeah, weakened players, some good positions, and the fact that that A-site player doesn't fall on the commitment there from Galaxy Racer, that makes all the difference. They have the numbers to work off of in the retake. Now that T-side down to just pistols, some utility brought through as well. You always like to see that, see if they can find some kills with the frags. The triple stack through middle. It's not going to be anyone on the receiving end, so it does give up a bit of information to HONORIS as to where the brunt of the aggression is.
Oh.
And oh, the double nade right back from HONORIS. They can play that game too.
Apparently. There's actually quite a few nice nades down towards connector, which teams have started to use very regularly. Gambit Youngsters is one of them, where you just use the holes that are generally used for flashes, and somehow you line up a nade through them. Counter-Strike players are special like that. Neo, in the meanwhile, will have both himself and a few more of his teammates come in with a few quick kills, and they will be poking some holes through some heads. Freddy Frog, last man left alive. Nothing really to do over here, although he does connect with one shot at the very least. Rico will fall, and Galaxy Racer now back to a bye, but can't really weaken the CT side economy. Just enough to say that, hey, if we win this round, we reset them.
And you can see with the line that the Galaxy Racers players are going through in terms of the buys, it doesn't seem as though they want or are prioritizing getting an AWP into Relax's hands that often on this T side. So all rifles across the board. Relax, of course, has had to subject a lot of utility to nothingness as he couldn't afford it. It'll sit on the shelves for now, but there's a lot of presence towards B. Trying to look for the angle is Neo, and almost loses his life in doing so. Still taking these duels, a lot of damage done. Oh. Galaxy Racer, they have to play a little bit more passively now, given the HP situation on a couple of players.
Oh, that's a very good nade moving forward, but I think it doesn't quite go far enough still. Galaxy Racer, this is where they need to be very careful. Like you said, HP situation not looking very good when you boost forward behind Plywood, but Tabs has found one. Prism, however, finds his head, and it's Reiko to come through. So far, so good for HONORIS, and they are dominating, but with a minute left on the clock, Galaxy Racer still have some space, and that space has been found by Pleasant. As he takes down Prism, and the A-bomb site will now be theirs for the taking.
Still so concerned about some sort of a lurking presence towards B, given how much presence was there earlier on into the round. Now this bomb gets dialed in. No more fakes, no shenanigans. Neo on the flank to see if he can catch one player off guard, but Galaxy Racer, given the timings that are available, should be aware of it. If they get a kill on the flank here, that changes things significantly for this HONORIS side. They can play the 2-on-1. Pleasant, this kill is absolutely crucial. He hears the steps there from Neo. The bait, the switch, no, Pleasant reads into it, and now it's just Taz. A kit in play, and while he can try and be sneaky all he likes, low HP, it's not seeming likely. Yeah, he's going to back off and save the AK.
Taz. It really looked like the CT should have been able to run away with that one, but Galaxy Racer do still have Pleasant, who's lurking over towards the A-bomb side, and Pleasant once again comes in the most dire of times. Important round for them to find, because now they've given themselves a chance potentially to reset the CTs, and they had this before as well and couldn't capitalize, but they came damn close to doing it. So HONORIS, if you have their momentum stopped early on, this becomes a very different game. HONORIS are definitely still rattled from Mirage after they had a few rounds where there were some uncharacteristic mistakes, let's put it that way. So they're definitely in a slightly more fragile headspace compared to if the first map had just been easy breezy.
Playing around the deep A main smoke. Stomp's trying to find an angle here with his AWP. He did rattle off a shot earlier on towards B main, so they'll have some sort of an indication as where he's positioned. But it's just seeming like a contact play in towards this A bomb site. Look at where the CTs are positioned, predominantly towards B. It's just Prism. They're playing for the retake instead, so concerned about holding on to that mid control. And while Prism, he'll get flashed off of the angle. It does seem as though they are fully going to commit for a retake into the site. Prism, quick boost there from HONORIS. This may turn into a 5v5 post plant, but there's Pleasant finding the kill necessary to get a little bit more room to breathe. The smokes are fading though. There's only one half of them that's actually covered, and at least Pleasant exposed. Reiko, there's in with 3 quick kills on the retreat. Our Galaxy Racer, they're trying to play these post plants, trying to get into position, but they're just not getting the chances.
Well, Freddy Frog going down yet again in the post plant is not going to be great. Taz realizes where the last player is, and he will find Stomp. Taz left in a 1v1. Bomb not planted for Taz, and Taz will swing out wide, but he didn't have the bullets to be able to continue that spray. And it will be the 5th round for HONORIS. Again, exact same situation. Galaxy Racers put themselves in a place where they should have the advantage, but they can't quite stick it out. And I'm not sure why he peeked out without Taz at least damping the bomb, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, he just can't make it, follow through and finish off.
Yeah, and the further we get into this game, we start to see the gaps in knowledge, or at least the abilities of Galaxy Racer to work these defaults. When it comes to A, they understand where the smokes and the Molotovs and the flashes can go. They know the lineups, but it's just seeming like that same information isn't quite as apparent on the B-bomb side. Of course, what should be apparent to you is that our lovely partners at Hellcase are the biggest and most known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battles, upgraders, dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique features. You won't get bored with Hellcase, and you can use the promo codes. I think they're around the chat. You saw them on screen for a little bit as well. You can try and save some money and grab what you deserve.
That was a very smooth segue.
Thanks, man.
Nice.
It's been a
Galaxy Racer.
Yeah, it's been a pretty bumpy game altogether, to be honest, though.
It's like if you put an F1 car and put it in traffic. That's the kind of race that we're getting right now. I'm not going to go ahead and say HONORIS is just, out driving them. This isn't a McLaren going up against a Ferrari. No. This is more like HONORIS is the station wagon that's built for that kind of road, that's built for, being screamed at from 3 different sides. Galaxy Racer, unfortunately, although they actually managed to whiz onto a stop sign, they do very often just get stopped forever and die. That's just how it goes.
I feel like I've lost track of the analogy. Which one's the F1 car? Which one's the family wagon?
It doesn't matter because Galaxy Racers are the ones who are ending up dead at the end of the rounds, and they really would like to change that.
Gotcha. So family wagon. It's a commuter's lifestyle for a Galaxy Racer. They need the team to all rally together to get the job done. And HONORIS are doing a good enough job at preventing these post plants from being too comfortable from that T side, but it does feel like the Galaxy Racer side should have a few more culminated.
Ooh, Reiko. Waiting for the peek forward, and he's got himself the immediate bounce up, and Badonkadonk comes in with 3 easy spray downs. Actually, it is tasked to steal one of them as well as Prism, so he does most of the heavy lifting at the very least, but hey, he's fine with just getting the round. He's a team player that way. 6-2 HONORIS. Very much in control and very much looking to keep control over Vertigo. We talked about how Vertigo should be their map. I think Galaxy Racer winning out Mirage was absolutely essential for them to even have a chance here. But Vertigo and Dust 2, I'm willing to edge them out a little bit towards HONORIS' side.
Yeah, definitely a fair statement to make. See if they maintain this form on the CT side. It has been a bit bumpy, has been a bit of a rocky road, taking the mountain trails instead of the currently made paths. And a good bit of damage on towards these players over towards B. Solid double nade though. Neo gets bombarded. That was one of your dedicated anchors, so Raiko has to now sort of twist his mind between both middle and B. He has called for a bit of support to alleviate that pressure, but this now splits the defenses.
It leaves middle completely empty, and in the meanwhile, you also have Prism who's moving backwards. There's 1:10 on the clock, and again, the man to keep an eye out in these rounds seems to perpetually be Pleasant, because Pleasant is just sitting in the back lines, waiting to see what kind of rotations are drawn out, and on the basis of that, he'll call whether or not it's worth actually even going towards that B-bomb site. Now, CTs are getting aggressive, but that execute's being set up. A Molotov now goes over towards the steel beams as well. Daz is going to be flushed out, but the Molotov isn't quite far enough, so they need to manually clear this out. It's such a difficult angle to deal with, and Taz comes out with 1. He's looking for more. Smoke will hide his opponents, but not the 2 behind. Instead, it comes down to Pleasant, who's got the flank with 2 kills of his own, and Tabs and Pleasant left in 2v1. The AWP in the hands of Stomp is not ideal for this retake, but can he get the job done?
This close angle from Tabs, it might just be enough to secure the round here for Galaxy Racers. Stomp trying to be as silent as possible, trying to not give up the sound cues. He falls, he descends, Stomp clears the angle, but it's haphazardly. Galaxy Racer get the round done. It's Pleasant again that steps up in a crucial moment, but Taz had such a good spray down, such a good position to hold, like you said, so difficult to clear out. Those Molotovs do not melt steel beams, and Galaxy Racer, they'll get a 3rd on field.
They don't melt steel beams quickly. Give them enough time, and you never know.
I feel like we'll be here all day.
That would be a nice little Easter egg if Al added that, you know, if you have a steel beam on fire for 60 seconds, but they are on fire on Galaxy Racer. They're not willing to wait 60 seconds. Reiko and Stomp both find a kill apiece. And Galaxy Racer, well, the 3-on-3 is on, as it looked like they should have been able to get the early advantage, but at the very least, the A-bomb site is open for business.
Oh, the sound cue given up. Look at who's holding the flank. It's Freddy. Bomb on his back, low HP as well. The timing of this flank is not going to quite hit the mark, but Taz may just be hot on their heels fast enough that they're unsuspecting. He spots out Freddy, spots out the bomb. His teammate playing passively in Reiko. He's Molotov, he's smoked out. It all lies on Taz. The high ground taken by Pleasant makes things more difficult, but there's Taz finally coming through, but Relaxa hits the no-scope. It's not quite sharp enough from Taz, and this is just going to have to be a save, surely, from Stomp.
Well, they don't have money on the CT side, so this is also where a difference in philosophy can come in, where you say, hey, maybe we have a hero up in the next round, but at the same time you say, yeah, but we'll have to save on the rest of the players anyway, may as well go for this. So Right now, Galaxy Racer will be finding themselves the 4th round of the back of some very aggressive early picks towards the B stairs. Although the picks are traded back, HONORIS have had to focus so much attention onto the B stairs themselves. The A-bomb side in left completely alone to be taken. Gaz's flank was good, but not quite good enough, and he can't catch the bomb off guard, even though it looked like for a few seconds Freddy Frog should have gone down to him.
I can't help but not laugh that Stomp almost gets spammed, I think, at the very end there by Relax on the AWP. He just shot a couple bullets off, sailed past Stomp's head, and you just look at the wall like, hey, wait, you can spam that?
It's okay, Stomp. That's how I reacted to 90% of Counter-Strike walls the first time I started playing.
Yeah, it's especially on this map, there's so many walls that are so much thinner than it looks.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a construction site. You know, it's in the progress.
It's a foundation.
Indeed.
And a lot of steel. But Galaxy Racers have built themselves the foundation of a T side as well. Can they actually continue through and find themselves the brick and mortar they need to build up their tiny little cottage on the seaside? That's the question. So far, they've definitely indicated that they have the ability to do so, but closing out a few of those 1v1s, etc. has been difficult. And now, aggressive early on from Stomp. He will find one and is now being chased down. The scope comes in and the team damage as well. Meanwhile, Taz is the second swing. And somehow or the other... Oh my god, they're going to lose this round, aren't they? This is one of those rounds.
A quick look at the weather forecast seems to indicate that this is a done deal. But we'll see if Dezen can go against the grain. No, it's still a kill going the way of HONORIS. They miss nade by Plesson. That gives up the information. Taz hits the shot with the recovered AWP. That could not have gone better for Taz and Stomp. They missed so many shots on Stomp, just jumping away aggressively to get into the corner. And Taz has players reloading their guns out in the open. They can just take them down with the USP. Unbelievable.
I am flabbergasted that not only that, they even get team damage. That's why Taz got that instant kill with the USB headshot, because of the team damage. And as a result of that, Galaxy Racer, what was their meal ticket, what was their free ticket to Disneyland, is now going to be trauma because someone puked on the seats while they were getting on the roller coaster and then they fell off because it was too slippery. Plesson, however, he's hoping to get a roller coaster going off his own. He's pushing forward. Two early picks onto the CT side will not go amiss, especially when those guns are in very reachable positions to be picked up by the Deagles. Tabs even finds another in mid, so apparently everyone's puking in Disneyland.
Yeah, they really need to test these rides a little bit further. Galaxy Racer there, trying to seal this round right back. With only those Deagles brought in, the fact that they got so much done. There's Devin with another frag. Taz will at least make sure he doesn't get away with the AWP. Relaxa gonna hit the shot for Galaxy Racer. So they lose to the pistol. The AWP saved over. They invest in some Deagles, an AK, and they do exactly what they failed to in the previous rounds. I think this is enough. 5 or 6 for Galaxy Racer on the T side, I think is ideal now if we're approaching that second half.
I think ideal would be not losing two 1v1s and an anti-ego, to be fair.
True.
But I mean, I don't blame them for the 1v1s in all fairness. Yeah. Dezon catches off Neo, who's trying to get aggressive, try to do a bit of a surreal impression as he drops down, but will be taken down as well. Galaxy Racer have consistently been defaulting early towards the B-bomb site with aggression to put the CTs at bay. This time, the A side is completely empty, and there are two CTs who've gotten very aggressive, but are about to find out that the AWP on the other side is actually quite deadly. Unfortunately, the AWP is the same in both Stomp and Reiko's hands. They both got the same supplier, and they're both running 1 kill apiece.
Ooh, Reiko. A little flash peek over towards B. Another supporting flash will actually deter Galaxy Racer from pursuing that much further. they do have Pleasant again lurking towards A, and so the rotations aren't going to really be here in time to contest this position. Should Pleasant get a bit more aggressive, there's a pathway towards this bomb site that is going to be taken by the T side. Now the smokes will sail through. This gives that room for Pleasant, but the flank is ever ensuing. Again, it comes down to timings and whether they can get some production from Taz, but again, it's Relaxer that trumps him. Last time it was a no-scope, this time he's holding the angle. A kill from Ryko through the smoke, though. That equalizes the affair, and things get interesting from here.
So far, retakes have treated HONORIS well. The question is, will this be any different? Stomp's got himself a cute little angle in case any of these players want to push through, and no one's going to go for the boost right now. The bomb is tapped. They move out. Relaxer's got Freddy Frog to back him up, but he does end up falling, and now Stomp, who comes out, taps the bomb. Will he realize that the other player is just trying to bait him out? Stomp once again going for it, but Relaxer, he is so chill. He's so cool, he's so calm and so collected. Finally, a 1v1 going the way of the T side.
They hit the sweet point, I feel like, for this T side. They get it done. Like you said, finally a clutch situation that goes their way. And HONORIS are running out of cash. They have nothing really left in the tank to reproduce in this round. Only Stomp with the saved AWP to bring forward. And so do you buy around this? I mean, you'll have enough money in the follow-up round that you can get proper weapons on field, but you'll be missing out on some crucial utility. So you can understand why a timeout's come through. Do you hedge your bets between the two rounds, or really just knuckle down and hope you get things done with rifles?
6 rounds is the sweet spot, absolutely, on the T side, but what's even sweeter is the fact that Galaxy Racers are definitely in an advantage for 2 rounds as long as they win this one. Now, I say as long as they win this one instead of certainly saying they'll win this one because of the fiasco we had earlier, but Galaxy Racer, towards the tail end of their T side, have definitely stabilized a lot more and are finding these early pickoffs. So, HONORIS, they don't really go for anything. Taz may have bought a P250, but that's about it. Even that P250 is going to be incredibly costly. Stomp has dropped down early. The AWP comes out with the early kill. However, the gun cannot be picked up because, guess what? They're actually covering their bases this time around. And the bomb, well, it's making its way over towards the A bomb site. Potentially, Pleasant finds himself 1 kill using the MAC-10, and he's got a single point of HP left as he backs off. The question is, where are the CTs going to reveal more players, and where are the Ps going to be pressuring?
Relax is actually in a very strong spot given the information that's available for HONORIS. He might just slightly have a timing here to work off of. The sound cue that's been given to the T side will deter the boost from HONORIS. They need something going their way. How does Prism not fall there? Okay, through the wall, the harder, more inconsistent shot hit by Relaxer instead. They've now got that numbers advantage to play off of. Stomp is still lingering towards the B bombs. You'd expect maybe they take a bit of a gamble here, but still sticking to their guns.
40 seconds, and I think he just wants to save at this point. These 2 players, Taz and Reiko, with the P250s, they actually have a chance to find 3 kills. All 3 players who are low could have been dinked down, I believe. I'm not actually sure. Does a P250 do 83 damage or 87?
I believe it's closer to 87, but...
Okay, so Relaxer could also go down there. That's the point we're making. Pleasant to fall in the meanwhile, and if they can take Stomp's AWP away as well, this is going to be so deadly. Stomp, however, is also quite deadly from what I've heard, and Relaxer can't finish him off either. Cute little angle, but the T side probably want to keep an AK alive as well. At this stage, throwing another AK away against the wall is not a very good idea when you yourself have got basically no money as well. So you're looking at a lot more Galils than maybe you want if you lose these. They do find the AWP at the end. Do they want to pick it up? Oh, okay.
I think that's now the second time we'll see Relax on the AWP, or maybe the third.
Yes.
But it has been pretty sparse for this T side, so it's maybe a case of won't buy into it. If we can save it, sure. But it does mean that Stomp's had to go glass cannon because he wasn't able to carry that over. And I do agree with you, that was way too costly for Galaxy Racer, but they've still got all the utility, the bells and whistles, while skimping on the weaponry instead. See if it works out in their favor. This fast play towards A, and look at the aggression from Neo. They're taking space away from Galaxy Racer. They have to know that it's an A play.
I'm not going to give them too much credit, but this might actually work out even better because HONORIS doesn't even have head armor on most of these players because of how little money HONORIS has. So not having the weaponry doesn't matter nearly as much at this point. So Relaxa, who's taking first point of contact with the AWP, is trying to use a one-way smoke to make sure that his teammates don't get taken down because of it. He's just holding for the super box angle while his teammates are very cautious about any flank coming in, which is really nice to see. But the first man to go down is Stomp, and that's their big bad Oppa, who's already been eliminated. However, Prism in the backlines is ready to refrag. Neo and Reiko coming with one apiece as well, and it's just firepower, but it's guiding their way through. Pleston reveals himself with the AK spray, and he's left and waiting for Tabs to come in with the flank. Tabs could completely make quick work of this, though. Both players have turned away from him, and he lines them up. Beautiful 2 shots come in. Neo has been good for 1 so far, but at this point with 33 HP and no kit, he's got to pull off the clutch of this game if he wants to bring it all the way back.
Yeah, the bomb's still yet to be recovered. Neo was in a flanking position earlier on. So the fact that he's repositioned, the fact he might catch these players off guard certainly plays in his favor. They're doubling up towards short, not giving the respect that he could be positioned at ramp. Tabs, oh, he'll plant the bomb in an exposed position. The time is of the essence, 7 seconds. Neo, just run, get out of there, man, because you can win the round on time alone. Spamming aggressively is Plesson, but he's not going to hit the shot. A narrow victory from HONORIS, but very well played from Neo to get it done.
There have been 4 1v1s or 1v2s in this game. In every single one of them, at some point or the other, Galaxy Racer has held the advantage. However, they've always lost out because they've overthought. Even right now, the amount of time they're spending clearing these angles instead of just potentially relying on a trade kill from their second player, which again, I understand why they're doing that. And that was fantastically played from Neo. But this is 4 1v1s out of which they've only been successful in 1 of them. In every other one, they've lost because they've overthought, which is just really goes to show how little Galaxy Racers has probably played this map. And now our pals over at LootBet, they're still saying it's a bit of a coin flip, even if the coin may be slightly weighted towards one side, a 162 to 216. I think Galaxy Racer on their CT side should have a significantly better time, but that's only if they're hitting their shots.
Yeah, but I mean, an 8 to 7 half, that's definitely more than I expected coming out from Galaxy Racer.
Yes.
Getting 7 rounds on that T side, especially with how close some of these rounds are, or were, this could have easily been a 10-5.
Looks like a B train is coming over. Plesson's just jiggling it out early for information. He will see these players. He's re-peeking out, and that could be a mistake. He wants to have some more time for his players to rotate back. Freddy Frog is here to give him some back up, but the T's themselves have slowed down, and that works into Tabs' favor because Tabs has come in from behind. The utilities being set up, and this could be deadly. The CTs in the back lines will be making their way over, but the Molotov is extinguished. Plesson finds 1, he finds 2, looking for the 3rd, but can't quite get the tap. In the meanwhile, reload was needed, but Tabs is in the back line, and he finds 2 of his own. And there you have it. Galaxy Racer have cleaned up that pistol. Perfectly done, with 3 players also moving forward with their Kevlar untouched.
I feel like maybe I'm getting a little too tunnel visioned on Plesson himself, but he has been so important for Galaxy Racers in this series. He's had so many crucial double kills in high-stakes situations. I mean, his teammates falling back, he gets those 2 quick ones and just stays alive long enough that Tabs can execute that flank perfectly.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that smoke went way off. Okay. I like that we get to see the smoke literally off the radar as well. That's quite funny.
Oh, I think there's a bit of a team stab done by HONORIS as well. So
yeah. Just a random gray spot. That's a bad pimple if I've ever seen one. Meanwhile, HONORIS, they just want to make sure they're not caught off by these MP9s. They're not just money in some guy's wallet. 8 to 8, and at this point, Galaxy Racer, they might actually be able to find a few kills with the MP9. Freddy 4 comes in with 3 there and then makes it 4, looking for the ace, but the USB is a fickle beast and it will not find it. However, still, lots of money. Always good to have.
You'll see if Stomp can get some money for himself as well. I don't think his prospects are looking too hot, but would obviously go a long way into the following rifle round. These positions from Galaxy Racer, they're giving him some respect. They're just containing him into that position, and while Pleasant executes him with an SMG of his own. A 9th now for Galaxy Racer. The aggression on the CT side, especially on an anti-eco, it can be ill-advised at times, but if you see nothing, you hear nothing, you can understand the justifiable or line of thinking at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
And I do hope we get to see a bit more aggression from Galaxy Racer on the CT side in general as well, even going into gun rounds, because I thought it was something we'd see a lot of on Mirage, but it was far and few between. They were playing very, very sort of respectful Counter-Strike. It always feels like a bit of a cop-out to say that, but very passively in a lot of these rounds that they play the CT side.
Oh. There's a lot of utility being wasted as the CTs aren't really finding any damage despite their being presence shown. Flashbang even comes in early to see how many players are there because they're hoping to bait out more than one player's spray. However, they don't really get the information they want, and Tabs is good for one but can't follow up with the second. In the meanwhile, Reiko is playing from mid to find one quick one as well. Freddy Frog missing his shots in crucial points is not something new to the series, but it's something new to Vertigo. Dezon now here to bring things back slowly. It's all down to him and Relaxa, but unfortunately, Reiko is on the other side, who's got himself that 4K.
Reiko T-sides are a whole different ball game. He did a lot on the CT side as well, but it just seems that when his team need him to get those entries, he just delivers time and time again. He's been really impressive this series. We talked about it on Mirage as well, just how sharp shooting he was. And it has transferred over to Vertigo. Maybe the first time we'll see it, but certainly I expect not the last on this map. Now with Galaxy Racer just on upgraded pistols, a Zeus on Freddy Frog, it's a bit of a throwaway, and especially when they're getting bombarded like that, this is falling further and further apart.
Oh. Well, maybe one day. Maybe one day we will hear the papak. You know what I'm curious about?
Mm-hmm.
Does the Zeus, when you fired it, do the green, like, energy bars behind it, do they go dark green to show that it's gone out of power?
I think it actually just depletes to nothing, like just a black screen.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's good stuff.
There was a game mode where the Zeus would recharge. And so it was sort of like an indicator you could use to gauge that.
Oh. There you go. Dezon with the Deagle. He is he's really just waiting for his teammate to reconnect at this point. If he can find a kill here and there, that's nice, but otherwise Galaxy Racers, who are seemingly having some internet issues or some server issues, should hopefully be back into it very soon. Now, let's not forget, despite their comeback and despite a few, actually, very important kills over here for Dezon. That $600 is going to go a very long way, especially if he can just find one more. But that 600 puts him all the way up to 5,000 overall. So utility-wise, it's huge.
Yeah, some really good kills to be finding. I was actually very in favor of him getting a third kill. Seemed like he had the superior angle, but missed shots, and ultimately not a bank breaker for HONORIS. Obviously, that crucial number of 3. And a player reconnects on the Galaxy Racer side. This will be a full buy. I doubt we get to see the AWP, given that, yeah, it would have had to have left the Dezen on that AWP and a glass cannon at that, so wouldn't have been ideal circumstances, but at least a buy nonetheless. So this then becomes a bit of a game of chicken, I feel like. There's a certain line of reasoning that when you come into these opening gun rounds, you go for these execute styles so that the team has to at least honor the fact that they may have to cheat rotations over. Then when you can maybe split onto these sort of aggressive or sort of default angles to capitalize on CT sides looking for a bit of information. But in the same vein, if you go that route and it doesn't work out, you can feel very boxed in very early on.
Yumi, I'm putting you on the spot. You're the coach of Galaxy Race, so what do you make them do?
I think mid control has to be a focus. In this game in general, it has been very lackadaisically cleared from either side. They sort of give a lot of space to the T side openings, and we saw even in one of HONORIS' rounds that they got a bit aggressive and they won the round off an AWP and some pistols surrounding it. So I like this from Galaxy Racer. They've got a couple players in position and ready to take these fights for the HONORIS default.
Let's see whether or not Coach Yumi's advice comes out on top. Or will they be firing you from your job, Yumi? That is the question. So, while the T's creep forward in towards ramp, the CTs on the A-bomb side are actually playing incredibly passively. You know, I want to see more aggressive utility being saved for the retake if you're going to be doing something like this. But in the meanwhile, RACER does have himself a grenade, and, you know, you do still have the Molotov on Deza. But the T's have actually been dissuaded. They've moved all the way back, and the problem is, again, there's a flanking Tabs who's been able to find so much in the pistol round, and this could just be a repeat. Blessin, again, ready with the smoke. 45 seconds left on the clock, and if that smoke goes down right now, it's going to be huge, but Tabs is the one who's even bigger. Finds 2 kills in the back line. Freddy Frog to take down the boosted player as well, and it seems like wherever HONORIS goes, Galaxy Racer is just waiting to take them into their lab and destroy them.
Oh, we'll see if Neo can bring things back, get things under control in the HONORIS camp, because it's not looking good in this round. So much damage done, and Tabs is still a nuisance from behind. Oh, the head pops out. Neo not long for the world pad. A 1 versus 4 on the site, and Plessin eliminates him. Very well executed there from Galaxy Racer. A great timing taking up by Tabs, and again, like you said, a repeat of what happened in the pistol. That flank from mid down towards those B steps, just so impactful.
Making a world of a difference right there.
That's going on the coaching CV.
Yumi, I think I've got you a team offer coming up pretty soon.
Ah, solid.
Yep. It's my team. That's solid. The monkey's paw right there. Galaxy Racer, however, they are at this point playing in a much more passive manner. No crazy flanks, nothing at all. At least right now, HONORIS have been given complete control over ramp, and that's worrying. When you consider that these are Tech-9s who are going to be getting up close and personal very soon. Stomp and company are just going to be throwing forward some utility. D-Zone has already used his Molotov, so he can't really try and cancel out the bomb plant either. The smoke will dissipate the Molotov, so they can get back on top of the super box, but the bomb's already planted. It's a 5v5 retake, and there's a T who's coming from behind. Neo somehow got into the elevator rule and could come through for the complete flank. Prism now with the P2, not P250, a Tech-9 has to play these close range angles perfectly.
Oh, Stomp, that AWP pulls up massive for the side. That long range fight, Prism given a bit more space to work off of. Now these flashes, the utility comes in from Galaxy Racer, but it's going to be all for naught. Prism's hitting shots on the Tech, and Relaxer trapped up on the boost. He's going to be able to get one, but rushed down. Oh, the no-scope. No, that's not going to be enough. They get the round done, and although they'll lose the AWP, actually, the fact that Reiko swapped out to the Galil has some impact because Stomp loses his, but still, HONORIS get the round win with just the upgraded pistols.
Yumi, can you not just ghost them for one round? Maybe give them a bit more than that, man. Come on, you're really letting your team down.
The thing is, right, there was actually a moment where I think it was Dezen that was spamming through the smoke towards the plant, and he actually could have spotted Neo on the flank. It might have been a 4-3 issue, I'm still not entirely sure, but there was a glimpse where you could have seen him. And that actually changes the round.
That's completely different. It was already going to be a difficult retake in a 5v5, but now Neo, he's not letting Tabs get spicy again. There's been enough of that from you, Mr. Tabs. Galaxy Racer, they have a Nova, they have a Scout, they have an MP9 and a Deagle. This looks like your typical matchmaking game, but at least in your typical matchmaking game, you have a chance of making it work.
If this Nova works now, you're gonna look like a fool. What a strong position being held by Pleasant as well to contain them and force them to go towards the A site. Relax up. Molotov is timely. And I don't think he'll have too much accomplished with this shotgun. I'm moving in towards your camp ever more as now the smokes come through. Desert, the Scout above the site. The Molotov will force him back. And they're leaving Relaxa high and dry. Long range fights with the Nova. Okay, he fits it to the USP. And Freddy actually commits alongside him, but Neo lands the double. Now it's a 4 versus 2. Make it 1 as Pleasant, although he had that strong position to start, wasn't actually able to make use of it.
Well,
yeah, it sometimes just it do be like that.
This is a strange game. I will say that. This is very much like when Vertigo first came out.
I just find it odd that they're buying up those weapons in the first place.
Yes. I think it's because Tabs rage bought. Because Tabs bought immediately after. Unless maybe the call was made initially that, hey guys, we're force buying. But Tabs bought immediately after the round finishes and transitions forward. He didn't wait at all. There was, I would be very surprised if there was an in-game leader call saying, yeah guys, just force buy. Next round, whatever. But because of that buy, you know, remember, they probably would have bought anyway. But because they only had, what, a $1,400 loss bonus, I believe. So, you know, you're on a double eco regardless. But now, because of that buy, Galaxy Racer, even in the next round when you have your buy finally, you're not going to have an AWP. You're not going to have full utility. And if you do have full utility, guess what? That's M4s down the drain, FAMASs and UMPs in your hand. And realistically, who wants a FAMAS or a UMP when you're down 10 to 13?
I think especially with the position they were able to get Pleasant accomplished in the early stages of the round, you'd almost look at the buy and just say, get pistols, get some utility, and play retake from the site. Because, like you said, we haven't really seen too many of these retake nades or these aggressive nades that are typically employed to prevent plants and make things as difficult as possible for the T side. Which means that if they had those lineups, if they had that in their repertoire, maybe they make that play and Pleasant can get a flank underway, but I don't know. It's definitely hard to say. We've little evidence to support that is within the strat book.
Oh. Flashbang goes down. Stomp's waiting for the peek forward. He will be able to get a quick spray down onto one. Prism follows through as well. It's Tabs to find 2 kills of his own. And now Tabs and Des on left in a 2 versus 3. Tabs brings it back somewhat. Bomb is dropped and located. With that Deagle needs to come through with at least one more. But the question is, where is Desmond in the meanwhile? What is he doing? As both of these players will not be able to recover any weapons. Desmond just got a P2K as well, so that's going to be worrying. HONORIS has been very good at covering their tracks and making sure weapons can't be picked up, as they are now running away back towards that B-bomb site.
Yeah, Neo was on janitorial duties, cleaning up the mess made from earlier on.
Ah, these kids.
Leaving their trash everywhere.
Always has to be me picking it up. Whatever. Let's get on with it. And they are getting on with it. They are getting closer and closer to that finish line. HONORIS, it's not been pretty, it's not been clean, but that's when they do manage to thrive. That's when they do manage to take advantage of the chaos. Tabs, however, is looking to take advantage of his teammate, move past the smoke, bait out his teammate, use the deagle to his best. I would really like to see him actually pass the deagle over towards Deson, but Deson instead is playing up next to the bookshelf, wants to get aggressive on his own. C2000 peeked out, but it doesn't really get anything. There you have it. 13th round on the table for HONORIS. And Tabs, at the very least, will have a much healthier buy because of those deagle kills.
Yeah, HONORIS are actually in a good spot to deal with the push as well. You could see how passively they were playing over the other side of the bridge just to make sure they didn't get caught up by the flashbang, but I mean, just a very good use of spacing on the Galaxy Racer side, making sure that one player is always swinging out wide so that it's hard for those players to line up nice little clean spray transfers, crisp clean shots. Like you said, a very costly round at that, but there needs to be production. HONORIS have done a good job so far on this T side of recovering themselves from some pretty awkward positions.
Oh. That op shot's always such a big difference maker because you can get into that angle early on, and CTs are also going to be looking to contest ramp from there very often. So Stomp finds that. That's where the T-side get complete control over the map, because then the CTs are forced to make a move in a 4 versus 5 unless they get the trade immediately, which is very, very rare. So fortunately, CTs manage to keep themselves alive, and HONORIS, now they have to be the ones who are going for some guesswork. And while they go for some guesswork, they will shoot down all the windows just to make sure that they don't have to suffer the same fate that Galaxy Racer did on their pistol round.
And it's a fake. I was wondering why they were shooting the glass so late into the round, but it seems like this is all according to plan. They're trying to bait the rotations out towards that B bomb site in through middle. Tabs finds the kill on Reiko. This is the end objective, though. Fake them B, go towards the A bomb site. Do they clear Relaxer, though? The Molotov won't hit his position. Prism not going to go out and clear it, but he waits. He finds the right timing there. He gets the 2 kills. Pleasant there to rotate and help as well. Stomp trapped at the sandbag. This is looking like a Galaxy Racer round, and it surely is. Time was against him, and numbers were against him, and they closed the distance ever so slightly, keeping it within 2.
So much of that comes down to the fact that the B bomb site player is playing next to the plywood. He's peeking down. So if you're trying to fake over towards B when that guy's basically sitting at the mouth of B, just peeking his head out saying, hey, is anyone home? Of course he knows no one's home. Of course he knows you've taken the candy and run away. This is the worst Halloween ever. But HONORIS, now they start to pull things out, hoping to get a bit of their sweet tooth excited. Question is, can they make it work with the Eagle and a Mach 10 and nade damage on top of them?
We were talking about cameras being implemented by particular players, right? The ring doorbells, or like the doorbells with cameras on them, have shed a new light on how many people steal packages and types of things that people do. So, like on Halloween, the kids, take one, says the sign. Takes the whole basket, does the kid.
Yep. Oh, great Molotov timing, but it may be just off by a bit. Because of it, the CTs aren't able to recover. The bomb site, Prism finds 2 with that Mach 10. The mobility put to perfect use. And there you have it. Again, Galaxy Racer, where they find 1. They immediately give 1 back, and it's in a way that their loss bonus is perpetually destroyed as well.
Yeah, this is not looking good for a CT side recovery. HONORIS are hitting a nice little stride here on the T side, although the last round didn't go so well. The idea was certainly there to make things as difficult as possible for Galaxy Racer, and this time they just cascade on the site. The rotations can't come through fast enough, and yeah, they're forced to save. It's, I think it's going to come down to another one of those sort of early to mid-round plays from the CT side to get things done and be disruptive, because HONORIS are playing the rounds out slowly on the anti-ecos when they know that it's a low buy from Galaxy Racers, but understanding that there are weapons on field, that risk has to be taken, it feels like, for the CT side to succeed.
At the very least, in their last hurrah, and let's not make any mistakes, this is very much their last hurrah. You have as close to a full buy as you can possibly have on the CT side. Now, how they use it has to be different. Freddy Frog, I like this position from him. It's very difficult to actually get the kill onto that immediately. and it's not the first angle you're clearing out when you peer forward, so it's a good little off angle. Reiko falling is very important, and Freddy Frog will have some information, but that information also comes with some fire underneath his feet. Relaxa and Quesson come in with a few kills down in mid. Stomp can return fire, but by the time he does so, his teammates are already dead. Oh, there's a distance.
Yeah, I think one of the players timed out while clearing middle. I was wondering why it was so easy for the AWP to get 2 kills there on Relaxa. One of the T-side players was turned completely the wrong direction, and it's unfortunate for HONORIS, but I think he timed out as those shots came through.
Shoot so hard that the other guy times out.
I guess so. Crashed his PC.
So, it's also the worst possible time as well, because as much as we've been... Well, I've been going on and on about how Galaxy RACER, oh no, what will they do? They don't have a lost one as well. Let's not forget, HONORIS' money has been pretty precariously placed as well. The last round they won was off the back of a Mac 10, swinging around and just finding 2 kills. It wasn't because they had an amazing execute or a lot of utility or all AKs. No. Now, guess what? Prism and Neo have 1,400 apiece. So, with your lost bonus being at 1,400... even if you end up full ecoing this round, Galaxy RACER will still have an advantage in the next one because 2 of your players are still only in the mid 3K mark. However, if you full buy this round, well, you might just lose the game. So, of course, not the best of things in the world to see. I am not sure if this game... Is this live? I think this is live, right?
Yeah.
Because someone was just sitting back and inspecting his very nice Glock. So.
Well,
okay.
Taz has made the individual purchase on the Galil. See if he can produce for the HONORIS side. Sometimes we do see this from teams, just making sure that one player has the firepower to fight back. Of course, it can cycle hands if it does meet an untimely end. Problem is, none of the HONORIS players have any armor given the budgeting situation that they're in.
We might just see them equal in the next round and let it go to 14-14, to be honest. It depends on how many kills they find against Air. I think that's why they've gone for the Galil as well. Taz has found the early one, and that's Dash to fold. Very important kill. Dezon is good for 2, but already that Galil is going to be feeling pretty good when you're going in and upgrading to an AK. Pick up an M4 as well, and now it's all about that retake. Good nade comes in. Stomp is tagged up heavily, but he's not brought down, and he's got the Galil to work with, so long range, he's still effective. Prism. There's a gap in the smoke, and he's looking to exploit it, but instead, it's Pleasant to come in from the side to try and exploit him. They're moving forward, but the CTs are so scared. Molotov coming in towards sandbags, and by the time it comes out, Prism's swung out, both him and Reiko finding a kill apiece, and suddenly, Relaxa is smacking the back of his teammates' head, saying, what the hell, guys? Why do we have to go and lose these rounds every single time?
Oh, no. As if that's the round that HONORIS win. The Galil and little else for HONORIS. Great job from Taz to get that entry. It forced the hand of Galaxy RACER to make a response, get aggressor from short, and it didn't work out. Going even against the pistols is not ideal, and you can understand the reason for a timeout here. The money situation, we've talked about it a couple of times now, was precariously placed for both teams. Galaxy RACER now feeling the effects of that as HONORIS are knocking at the door of a third map.
Can I also just point out, Tabs walked into Taz without a flashbang. That was not Taz getting aggressive and finding a kill with the Galil, and that was not Taz getting like some fancy bunny hop movement going when catching someone off guard with their back turn. No. That's literally, let's go into the enemy team. When you have full utility, no less. When you are at the riskiest time in the entire game, when everything is on the line. And Tabs has been great. Tabs has been amazing so far in this game. He's been one of the only reasons why they've gotten so far, but he might also be the reason why they end up falling. And I don't know whose call that is, but even so, now Tabs is again going down early. He had the AWP, and that will be picked up by Relaxa this time, but can he actually find the equalizer when HONORIS, they backed off?
The good news for Relaxa is that they've given up the angle, that deep peer from A ramp. Problem is they can now creep themselves up. There is at least a supporting player nearby, so it shouldn't cascade out of control too quickly. And now it's all about HONORIS. They hold all the cards. They've thinned the defenses ever so slightly. It means that middle is once again left wide open for exploitation. It doesn't seem as if HONORIS will have that information to play off of, however. And it feels like there has to be some sort of a CT response, some information to gather, because you don't have the superior weapons here. You don't have that advantage to play off of. Freddy Frog could be pivotal in this position.
Oh. For a second there, I thought he flashed himself. But okay, that's just a peek. Freddy Frog does come in, takes down Neo. It's a 4v4 yet again, but with 30 seconds left on the clock, Dezon is the one who needs to chime in, and he's just trying desperately to get behind the only cover he can find, but that's not much cover at all. Needs to find a kill, and he does do so. A smoke from his teammate also was there to distract for a little while longer, but he can't get behind that cover.
10 seconds.
3 versus 2, and no time for the T's as they're moving forward. They don't realize Preston's also in the back lines. Relaxa just trying to deny the bomb plot. He won't be able to do so, but at the very least, he can find the kill and the retake. Finally, a retake goes away of the CT side.
HONORIS just taking far too long to get things done. That lurking play towards B, they tried to run a bit of a distraction. There was a decoy nade thrown, a flash, but the fact that Freddy gets that kill so quickly, so early into the idea there for HONORIS, made all the difference. They had a fast flank on that CT side. HONORIS didn't have a lot of time to play with. They had to rush, and Relaxa just does what he does best. Hits the AWP shots where necessary. And this is looking like we're guaranteed the distance. The fact that Prism is bought into an AK, of course, could still wreak a bit of havoc. We saw Taz have a good opening kill with the Galil previously, but I think it's going to be a little bit harder, especially with Relaxa peering into the middle.
Freddy Frog and Relaxa. Good little crossfire going where Relaxa trying to cover his back, but that smoke is good enough to take Freddy Frog down. Relaxa will get one through the smoke, but now again this B bomb site's been given up. Storm's been given up the AWP. And really, what are you...
Oh my goodness. It's almost as if they shouldn't invest into proper weapons. HONORIS are just out-positioning them and just hitting the frags they need to on these rounds where it shouldn't really seem all too feasible. One rifle. Really what was brought into this round, and Relaxa has to perform absolute heroics. Yeah, that is a big issue for Galaxy Racer on Vertigo. We knew, we had a feeling it was going to go more towards HONORIS, but not like that.
Yeah. Not like that. Pretty much sums it up. Let's actually go through the numbers. Mm-hmm. That's 5 1v1s, of which they've lost 4 on the Galaxy Racer side. That's multiple retakes where they had the advantage of weaponry, where they're not able to capitalize. That's twice that the B bomb site is actually penetrated by a Deagle or a Mac-10. That's multiple times where they're giving up a huge advantage early on, which gives HONORIS a chance to actually clean up a round that they shouldn't have had. They've lost to, I believe it was 2 force spies as well, just flat force spies or even ecos. If you haven't noticed a trend here, it's that gamer. It's that. No, sorry, not gamer.
Galaxy Racer.
Pardon me. I'm just getting carried away. Galaxy Racer is setting themselves up for victory and then chopping off their hands.
Yeah. I mean, how many? I think it was 3 or 4 times where it was one gun and pistol surrounding it that HONORIS won. I didn't think the map was going to be that close, but they needed so many things to go right for HONORIS to edge out a victory on Vertigo. I don't know how to call Dust 2 now, especially because I thought, like you, HONORIS, this leans more towards their map pool. But I didn't expect Galaxy Racers to do as well as they did on Vertigo, and I think we may be in for the same surprise coming into the 3rd map.
Well, If the second map is anything to go by, all that we know is that we know nothing. We'll be back with map number 3 in just a bit. Just to the most chaotic map in the game for the most chaotic series of my life. This should be an interesting one, to say the least. We will be back in just a bit. fake. Yeah, we're back right here, and now it's gone. We got ourselves HONORIS going up against Galaxy Racer. It's been a confusing series so far. I will not lie to you guys. Do you know it? I know it. Some decisions have been made which we have continued to question, but in confusion we find entertainment, and in entertainment we find a way to while away the hours while we wait for the last map to come through, and we wait to see who exactly can go through towards the lower bracket final. Yumi, any comments on Game of Legion that you can say on air?
Galaxy Racer.
Galaxy Racer. Dude, the G and the R, that's what gets me every time.
I have some comments on Game of Legion. fans. But yeah, when it comes to Galaxy Racer, I think I share a lot of your same sentiments in that it seems like they're setting themselves up for a lot of success in some of the rounds, but it's just something about the post plants and the way that they choose to play them that always seems to fall apart. When it comes to the T sides, it seems like, especially when it came to Vertigo, they were less composed than the likes of HONORIS, which is to be expected. You saw just how strategic HONORIS chose to be on that T side, even giving a lot of respect so much as to throw fakes and try and sort of out-rotate Galaxy Racer. Sometimes it caught them and nipped them in the bud. But the different approach doesn't excuse the fact that the retakes were just so much more successful on the CT side for HONORIS, and I don't know, man. It just seemed as though they were constantly finding those early advantages or those positions where they could win it, and just not hitting the shots they needed to close out the rounds.
I wouldn't even say they weren't hitting the shots they needed to. Honestly, it felt like there was a much more systemic problem than that. And I'm sure a lot of it stems from just not having played Vertigo very often on the side of Galaxy Racers. But at the end of the day, you did lose 16-13 in a place where, or was it 12? Was it 13 or 12? I think it was 13. Yes, you did lose 16-13 in a map where you've lost 5 1v1s, where you've lost 2 anti-ecos / anti-force buys. So, you know, at one point, the excuse of, yeah, we don't really play Vertigo goes out of the window. I'm sorry. It's harsh to a new team, but these are the things which, if you have so many situations where you should be winning, so many of them, and you're losing every single one, except for one, there was literally only one 1v1 or one round like that they actually managed to win, then I'm sorry, what the hell is going on here? Especially because the first map was one they actually won. Yeah. They didn't get stomped there or anything.
Yeah, and I suppose the most confusing part was, like, when we talked about it going into the second half, the idea that even on their T side, where I thought they'd be weaker, we could have very easily seen it go sort of 10-5, even maybe 11-4, had they closed out the rounds where they had those advantages, where they were up against the pistols and maybe one AWP, or just the sort of sight stacks. They had HONORIS confused, it seemed like, on the CT side, but then they go over to their own defensive portion and they suffer the same issues. The anti-ecos are one of those things that are inexcusable at any level of play. I think, especially with the way that the pistols have been buffed, there's a little bit of an argument to be made, especially with the deagles. But even still, maybe one round in a game, maybe that's really what you expect, but multiple times. Yeah.
Sloppy Counter-Strike from the Galaxy Racer boys. And at the same time, you know, HONORIS, I'm not going to go out and say that they've been performing fantastically well either. To be fair, they did at the very least deliver on what they're supposed to do. And that's what I'll say about HONORIS, which I'm very satisfied by, is that they do what they're supposed to in important situations. If Daz is buying a Galil on his own, he'll find the opening kill. If Neo has a MAC-10, he'll jump through a smoke somewhere and find a flank. You know, if there's a MAC-10 on Prism, then Prism knows he needs to get aggressive on the B bomb site and basically bunny hop around the side, distract people for long enough that he can kick someone's head in. That's exactly what's going on all in all. So HONORIS know what needs to be done and they do it, but they're not really going above and beyond in their own regards either, in all fairness, in terms of firepower, in terms of who's really showing up today.
Yeah, and I suppose that's where you can maybe place a bit more importance on that veteran leadership in Taz and Neo, right? You saw them sacrifice so much just to allow these young guns to really shine. You saw some really great rounds from Raiko, Prism. Sometimes they weren't even being set up. They just had those rounds individually. But yeah, like you were saying, you can rely on those veterans to make a play where they may not get the most stardom, they may not get the most frags, but they give their team enough space where it is doable, where it is feasible. And that is something that is lacking on the Galaxy Racer side. I don't look at any of the players in particular outside of maybe, and we could be kind of saying his name a lot in the same way of Plessin, where he stepped up in big moments. But Tabs, Relaxa, those are the players that are doing a lot of the work on the Galaxy Racer side, but it just feels like the leadership just isn't there.
Yes, and Tabs, as good as he was throughout the entirety of the game, in those last few moments, that's where he capitulated. That's where 3 rounds in a row, he was the first person to go down. So I loved watching Tabs, and I love watching how good he is as a young player, as a young individual who I, quite frankly, haven't heard of before. But those are also the places where youth shows itself. Those are the places where you need someone to be able to herald your team together, to be able to really, be the sheepdog, to put it bluntly. Unfortunately, that wasn't quite there. Now, Dustu, that's interesting. Dustu should be where everything really comes down and crystallizes, because Dustu's much more frag heavy than Vertigo, much less utility heavy than Vertigo, and when it comes down to those retake situations, when it comes down to those 1v1s, Galaxy Racer should at the very least theoretically have a better ground to stand on. Now, theory doesn't always translate through, and we'll have to wait to see how it actually works out on the server as a knife round will ensue.
Yeah, it will really come to light just the gaps that are apparent. If the CT sides are still struggling on the Galaxy Racer end, then there has to be some sort of red flag that's raised about how they're approaching these rounds. They may not be given that chance later on into the game. I think if we're getting HONORIS on the CT side... yes, yeah, we're getting HONORIS on the CT side. So it'll have to wait till the second half, but considering the way the day started for Galaxy Racers and how crumbled and detached their CT sides were, then I think there's a lot to be said about how they adapt and make Dust 2 work. Of course, our partners over at LootBet, they have the odds up on screen for us, and they edge the favor actually into Galaxy Racers' court.
Well, I'd agree with them on that one, but again, like I said before, there's not really very much firm ground to stand on, and I think our partners at LootBet also understand that at this point, which is why it's still pretty even all in all. Long-range shots with the Glock, probably not the bright of ideas, Relaxa, but he'll be going for them nonetheless. Meanwhile, Prism's got the P2K, which is also not particularly famous for its long-range shots, so hey, everyone's working it out where they can. Ooh. Prism close range, though beautiful one tap to take down Dezon, and it's Plessin to try and return fire, but that attempt is not successful.
Well, a good little opener for HONORIS, a nice little set play as they lined up that flashbang for exactly that peak. Well, a little bit of space given over towards Long, however, Freddy getting the entry. There's a player that is remaining a little bit elusive. Tucked behind the car is Stomp. The first kill not going to be quite so crisp, but Prism will bail him out of that situation. Stomp is in between a rock and a hard place, but his teammates are going to make sure to bring the pickaxes, bail him out of the situation. Prism still looking for more and more frags. He's got 3 so far. Could it be a 4th? It will indeed. HONORIS get themselves the pistol on the CT side start, and it's largely to do with what Prism was doing.
Well, Prism comes through very nicely early on. We saw him having a very good performance on Mirage as well. If I remember correctly, it was him and Reiko who were doing most of the powerlifting from the HONORIS side. The rest of them were slightly quieter. Hopefully, Dust 2 can be where both of them can come alive along with their teammates this time around. Galaxy Racer, however, they've still got a long way to go. They've still got quite a few jimmies to rustle, I'm sure.
Oh, that's an old reference that I haven't heard in a very long time.
Never even knew what it meant, really, but I kind of get it. Pleasant, however, can't really get Prism's head. Prism will take him down, and again, Prism's hot streak of form continues.
Well, they've still not really congregated with the bomb, just looking at getting a bit of cat control on the Galaxy Racer side, especially now that they're a man down. It seems like that will be the open pathway that's given up to them. Of course, HONORIS are in good positions to retake this bomb site. They hold on to long control. They've got a player positioned at the car as well, so you can try and play that headshot angle and find a few kills. Of course, the scouts could always throw a wrench in that plan. And now with the one-way smoke, bit of a gap that will be left for Galaxy Racer to probe off of. Things get a lot more interesting. Neo's there on the rotation. Another smoke deployed this time. Not going to be taken up by Galaxy Racer, and they make a quick trek towards that A-bomb site. Neo missing some shots on that rotation in, but Stomp hits one, does delay the bomb ever so slightly, but it can get planted. Essen actually finding a nice set of kills on the... Wow. Okay, another kill on the Scout makes this a lot more contestable, especially with Freddy hitting deagle shots as well. It all comes down to Dezen. He's the one that's been fragging, really, for the Galaxy Racer side, but it's too tall in order. Taz, the off angle on the boxes, a defuse for HONORIS, but a costly round for that CT side.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think that was a missed smoke on the T side. I don't think they meant to smoke off CT, because generally what you see is, in situations like this, you see the wall of a Vanguard smokes, where you have the one way that you pointed out, but then the second one is what lands on the boost spot. So what that makes it is so that anyone who's underneath short and anyone who's at car, or at least the corner of car, can't see you while you're crossing over to the bomb site. So maybe I'm just wrong about that, and maybe they just wanted to delay rotations by a little while longer, but the CT smoke doesn't really make very much sense when you consider that Neo was already there, and when you have a player on the other side, pushing through a smoke is not really very risky at all.
Yeah. Ultimately, the devil's in the details, and we don't actually know what the true intentions were. Now, a bit of a disjointed buy. Freddy Frog has bought the AK, Lesson with a Scout, and little else, really, for Galaxy Racer. They've got some utility in the side of Dezen, but critical about where he deploys it. Only the one on the belts of this T side.
Stomp is ready and waiting with the Scout for these T-side players to run in. HONORIS, in the meanwhile, are very heavily focused on towards long control. So Stomp is the only player who's going to be taking the first contact for quite a while. He has to come through with at least 2 tags in this situation, and when the smokes come over, the nade will fly through from him. It's very well placed, and it'll do a lot of damage. And with that, it actually can just be the Scout to clean up the house. He will be going for some shots, but they're waterfalling down, and Pleasant on the other side with a Scout of his own comes alive with a kill. That means that the bomb could have been planted, but unfortunately the bomb was too overzealous and was the one that jumping down, meaning Tam is left alone. No bomb plant, nothing, only a deagle to try and save the world, and the world is not ready for a savior. Reiko taking it away with 4 kills, and although it looked like maybe Galaxy Racer can get something out of that one as well, it simply wasn't meant to be.
It almost seemed like Galaxy Racer took a page out of HONORIS' book, going for the one weapon and little support, just to see if they could pull out a miracle round, because it worked so many times for HONORIS. At least on Vertigo. But now they should fully commit into this. Of course, it will mean that the buy from Freddy is a bit lackadaisical, bit poor. They can maybe use him as a bit of scouting information, get him on a Mac 10, get him creating a bit more space for these rifles to operate. Yeah, okay, I was going to say, the question does become, does Relaxa invest in the op straight away, or do they just try for rifles? But he buys it. He makes sure that that's equipped early and into the game. They'll have to meet Stomp.
I think the T-side op is just way too strong to not get early on. Does he find himself a duel to take, though? Stomp is trying to find the good old-fashioned one-way, but instead he just moves past. He'll be creeping in forward. Relaxa is not going to be given anything to shoot at, as Stomp is just waiting for the top mid cross. The T side, however, heavily focused around lower tunnel, as recently most terrorist sides have been going for. And it will be Pleasant to reveal his position with that reload.
The flash is good. Prism spams away, but not going to land too much damage. In fact, a lot of damage taken himself. Stomp. Eastern Jersey doesn't get pushed all the way through, but still a lot of damage being exchanged, or a lot of bullets rain through the doors, but little real connections.
Oh. I just realized the CTs don't have any utility left beyond 2 Molotovs. And those 2 Molotovs, guess what? They're nowhere near short. Unless Neo goes for the next level play in Malta short from long, which is obviously possible, but it's very dangerous for the CT side to do.
Uh-oh. Short's open, but the majority of the players are headed towards long. I don't know if a step would have been heard from the players in towards pit. Neo in at that close angle. Neither of them really facing for the engagement. Raiko needs to be a distractionary force. Neo, this off angle could get things done. They don't clear him initially. The first kill there. The second as well from Neo. The AWP posted on the angle. Relax is able to get it done, but the bomb's been dropped. 15 seconds. That's it. That's done. Galaxy Racers, no chance in winning this round. They have to win on elimination, and these CTs are too far away.
Galaxy Racer now with one of their players not even getting the loss bonus. I think they're forced to force buy in this situation. They could just let Tabs take the solo AK forward with the loss bonus that they have. He'll still have $3,500, so they will be able to bring it together. But the reason why I think they might want to go for the force buy is also because the CT side economy is going to get to a point where if you win another round with 3 or 4 players kept alive, you're not having anything to do with interrupting the CT economy at all.
Just to harp back on that last round, it's a bit strange to me that Galaxy Racer tried to retake long so late when they really didn't explore any utility that direction. I mean, there was like the one flash and that was about it, and they don't even clear all the angles. Reiko, nice opening shot to catalyze the round. Tabs, well, though, okay. He finds a couple of kills over towards A, and Reiko's been lost on short. Suddenly the A bomb site's very exposed and ripe for the taking here on that T side, but they don't have the bomb. That's still in T spawn. It's very disjointed. This opens up the opportunity for the CTs to get back into it, but Prism now left alone. A 1 versus 3, a minute left, and he doesn't know that the bomb is taking a long time to get planted.
Prism. This is the point where the CTs are still going to be able to buy up in the next round, but if they do so, they need Prism's M4 to be saved. Otherwise, Neo won't have a buy, and already their buy is not really particularly great because of the 1,400 loss bonus. Yumi, this was supposed to be the round where the CTs brought it all together. This was supposed to be the round where you're patting each other on the back, saying, yeah, good job, we've got ourselves money for another few rounds. Good stuff, we've done it. Galaxy Racer, though, just off the back of Tabs and his saved AK-47, come through and completely dominate them on basically mid and short. So HONORIS have really got some tinkering and tottering to be doing, and they've got plenty of time to do it because now, if I'm not wrong, they have to go for an eco.
See, I'm not ready to count HONORIS out. I can't make predictions on the buys just yet.
Actually, after Vertigo, you know what? They probably won this round.
Yeah, I'm hedging my bets a little bit. But we've been talking about how Tabs has been a very influential player for Galaxy Racers. He shows exactly that in the round. They're first on this T side. And actually a faster play through middle here from Galaxy Racer. The stack from HONORIS over at long, trying to set up for an overwhelming play on the one player in Pleasant. They should start to realize that there's a lack of presence really from the CT side. First kill is easy for Pleasant. Now they'll start channeling through the doorway. Pleasant trying to escape, firing furiously. He goes and gets a little bit more support with a teammate nearby him, but actually he's containing them. The utility is great to slow them down. The need to follow up, and although HONORIS had the plan of overwhelming him, Pleasant stays very much whelmed.
You know, I've never actually heard that word. But I guess it is, or you know what, I need to Google it. Is that a word?
Whelmed is almost certainly not a word, but I imagine if we use it enough times, it'll make its way into the dictionary.
Whelm. Archaic. engulf, submerge, or bury.
Okay, I mean that's definitely not the definition I was going for, but good to know that it's still a word, I guess.
But it's an archaic word, so you know, there you go. You're tapping into that 14th century bosom again. HONORIS and Galaxy Racer. So far, so good for the Polish boys, but Galaxy Racer are going to be having a few rounds for the very least. Bring some ripples into the spawn. With that one, I wouldn't even call it a forced by victory. I'd just say a slight half by victory. With that one half by victory, they're able to get themselves into a place where now equalizing is on the table, but unfortunately for them, they still have to get past Stomp and his AWP. And I want to see Stomp getting aggressive. I want to see Stomp making a play, because so far this has been the Rico and Prism show all day long. Stomp has not been looking like his usual self at all.
We'll see if the opportunities arise for him to get a bit more stardom. I think he was having a bit more of a game on the CT side of Vertigo. Or I think it was the T side. But either way, his Vertigo performance wasn't anything to scoff at. But do expect him to have a lot more impact. Definitely one of the win conditions here for HONORIS. Galaxy Racers are on a track to get things back in their court on the T side.
Relaxa is now waiting for the push forward to come in onto short. Prisms found one. Reiko comes in with one of his own as well, but Freddy Frog is the one who's still keeping things going. However, Stomp, maybe now it's his time to finally start to come alive. The B-bomb site is not quite up for grabs yet, but with Taz's death, it will be. Smoke is delivered, but Stomp is having his round finally. Unfortunately, that Smoke's still doing a lot of work, because Dezon says, you know what, guess what, you're going to the B-bomb site, you don't know where I am. So he can already rotate back to A from long, crossover completely safely, there's no op checking this, the bomb will be planted as well, and on top of it all, guess what, he has a Molotov too. So this is a very doable post plant. He's getting aggressive towards short. This is really well played from him already, because when he's hugging that wall, if there's any CT making a noise, he will be able to hear them coming from CT's spawn. Now, the problem is that Molotov might need to fly out very soon. He's given them a lot of space to work with, but they're not checking the angle correctly. Neo will end up going down, and that Molotov, it could just be used to perfection. It'll be flying forward, but it's not quite at the right place. I think he may have forgotten, but the molly, oh my god. Did he forget where he planted the bomb? Or could he just not run far enough because of the molly? You know what, that's just a confusing situation. But if you're confused about where to go in your free time, I'll tell you where to go. It's Hellcase, who are our case partners. They're the biggest and most known case opening website with almost 100 cases, updated case battle, upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and more absolutely unique features. You won't get bored with Hellcase. Use promo codes to save more and grab what you deserve. There you go.
Such a winnable round, done away with by a missed utility and perfect utility on the CT side in response. The boost from Stomp in this round, he's beginning to heat up, find some action on the AWP.
They messed up the flashbang.
Aye.
That flash is specifically for that angle.
Oh, Tab's hit by the smoke. Okay, easy kill for Taz. At least it's traded back by Dezen, but bit of a Hail Mary in its own right. Some awkward engagements, that's at least for sure so far.
Well,
good little flashbang there from HONORIS side. Get a bit more information towards short. Relaxa, though, may have found a window at long.
Relaxa finding the first kill is so important, but he's been scouted. However, Neo can't connect with the shots. And with that, Relaxa moves forward. He's the kill onto the farm bus, but the farm bus is pushed him back. The problem is the Molotov coming over. Freddy Fog and company should have been located, but they don't realize that the bottle ran directly into the terrace, and they thought that that's in from tunnels. So they weren't ready for the players to already be at the green box. With that, it's a 2v3 side. Oh my god, what is this? What is going on here? Are they actually going to try and go for this? The grenade, it doesn't do enough damage. And the flashbang moving forward won't really be blinding anyone. They'll try to go in with the rifles picked up. Reiko's good for one. Reiko's turning around, but they're not expecting the delayed push from tunnels. They will catch him up, but it's Freddy Frog to win and save the day. This... Is this Vertigo?
Feels like you switched the team names around. I mean, an advantage for HONORIS to start off the round. The fact that RACER is so disruptive at long, it gets them enough space, enough attention is drawn over that direction that the B-site players are just none the wiser. Not even close enough to hear the sound cues, not even honoring that the Molotov isn't going to deter them from a push. Like you said, just not reading into the timings from Galaxy RACER.
And messing up. And like, this is despite Galaxy RACER messing up a flashbang early on, letting Storm get a free kill.
Yeah.
And also giving up a second free kill as well. So, all in all, HONORIS, they were given a chance. Unfortunately, they have said this is not a game of chances. However, I think that may have gotten lost in conflict. I don't think that's quite what it means.
Well, chances will be taken in through middle, and Reiko not going to find the timing. Got between two minds about clearing the lower tunnels and paying attention towards top middle. Malplesson does what he does best. He was lurking on A on Vertigo. This time it's B for him. I don't think Stomp has much of a chance. Yep, a clean round for Galaxy RACER. All five kept alive, some money in the bank, and they close the gap on the score. And another round in which it should be an easier affair. HONORIS not having enough money to invest into this one. He had a few surprises on Vertigo. I don't think those same angles, the long-ranged engagements that Dust 2 offer, are going to yield the same results. But there's always that slim chance that maybe, just maybe, HONORIS gets something done with this.
Well, there goes some flashes outwards. They're hoping to find that kill on the Freddy Frog, who's been pretty consistently watching for the long push. However, he's also pretty consistently not been going down, so there is also that. In the meanwhile, Freddy will find one. The bomb is still very much in the back lines, and it might not even be needed at this stage. A minute and 15 on the clock. The B250 has been recovered. The USB and the B250 probably not really worth saving, all things considered, but seems like it won't really matter. Neo will be discovered soon enough, and he will fall, but not before he finds a kill.
Yeah, Tabs just jumps at him. Ain't no way you're hitting that shot, Neo. Maybe the internal monologue there. I mean, there's always a chance, but an equalizing round.
Galaxy RACER bringing it back against all the odds. And trust me, there are a lot of odds against them.
Yeah, and HONORIS have brought down to next to nothing. So this is another moment in which Galaxy RACER, they win this. There's potentially a 7th on the cards as well. It hasn't been the prettiest, the cleanest from really either side. I think HONORIS have done a lot more things right, but Galaxy RACER are just proving to be hyper-adaptable, even in these chaotic situations, to get themselves these round wins. And the smokes towards the CT spawn, it seems to be a B wrapping play. Tabs around the smoke, finds one. Prism trying to take Sanctuary in the smoke, but he gets there a little too late. Neo, okay, running and gunning, finds a kill at distance, but it's the save call from HONORIS.
I feel like I'm going to come across as a hater. I really do. And I don't want to. Guys, I promise you, I am just looking to inform. That's all I want to do. There was another miss smoke on mid from Galaxy Racer.
Yeah.
They went for the double smoke, wall of smokes for the mid to B play. The reason why that's used is because it's up behind the actual wall of smokes and you can find a kill. And in addition to that, the second smoke also gives just a little bit of cover fire to an AWP if it's actually pairing over. It's not very much, but it's a little bit. As we say that, Stomp is hunted down and Neo's left alone. But I don't know if there's been any rounds which Galaxy Racer has won where there haven't been some mistakes in utility made.
Yeah, you could see the amount of utility expended towards CT spawn because they were furiously trying to get it the way they had drawn the plan up initially. Even on the fly.
Yeah. And again, this is a new team and I understand that these things will happen. But every round seems a little bit excessive even then, especially when you consider how incredibly experienced these players are. Alexa will be having a shot baited out, but does re-peek out for more. Afterwards, it's just a cleanup over towards Long. HONORIS will soon be trying to peek out again with the M4, and they will get a kill this time. Relax is also down on 1 HP, so he can't refrag. Prism, in the meanwhile, caught off while he misses shots, and that will be the full cleanup. HONORIS will yet again be afforded an opportunity to buy. However, they really need to change something. Like, something needs to change.
And a lot of the plays that you saw HONORIS getting advantages early on into the game, the sort of boost on the catwalk, the boost in towards the lower tunnels, that's been absent these past few rounds. And I do believe you're right that something does need to change in the way they're playing the CT side out, because Galaxy Racer, that last round in particular, just looked like they were just pucking it out. Just running straight at HONORIS, and there was nothing that they could do to slow them down. They were very spread out. Once again, it will be a default this time from Galaxy Racers. Less emphasis put on middle in the early stages. That Furious sprays through the smoke. Pleston gets the kill, and that is not what you want to see on the side of HONORIS. This is a must-win round. This is going to quickly fall away from you if you give this one up.
And because of that kill, they've had to completely forfeit middle. And remember, there's still an AWP who just scoped down mid directly. So these T-side players, they're very wary of the fact that they'd like to get a little bit more information there. However, Reiko's the one to keep an eye out for. He's getting aggressive, and that aggression is now quickly punished. That leaves Stomp to try and defend the A-bomb site, and Neo, who has rotated back over. But A-long has been completely given up, and you have a player on short. This will be a very difficult hold for the CT side. Even saving this AWP, which should be their priority, might be nearly impossible as Tabs comes in from behind, finds the kill, and Neo and Prism have gone to save.
Yeah, you expect Galaxy Racers to be really hunting for these kills. They have so much money built up because they've had so much success of late on these T-side rounds. And you do not want the AWP being saved. That is a critical piece that I feel like can really bring HONORIS back into this. Pleston tries to deny them the rotation through T-spawn, the lower tunnels included. And yeah, Galaxy Racer there making some quick footwork to get into a position to track these players out.
I mean, the call should be pretty clear. Neo is in T-spawn. However, Tabs falls down there, and I have a feeling these are going to be some one-by-one peaks, and both of these CTs might be able to get away alive. Now, Prism's quite low, but he does have the AK-47, so with his positioning, I think Prism should still be able to find that kill, and I think he's the one who's really much more at risk, as he will take down Freddy Frog, but Neo scopes away because of it, and the AWP will be lost. Prism cannot move back to recover it, and that's so significant, because now you don't have any ops on the CT side. Galaxy Racer can feasibly be looking down at 9-5.
After things started so well for HONORIS on the CT side as well, Galaxy Racer are... It just does feel like they're going for this sort of individualistic, sort of more pick-based style, and they're winning some of these crucial extremity duels. You take a look at how they've been taking long control, but just winning out, getting even... Not even trades, but a sort of a man advantage in the exchanges. And that just means that the A-bomb site has to have an early rotation that thins out the defenses, all that good stuff. And really, you look to HONORIS to change things. We touched on it a couple of rounds ago, but the fact that we haven't seen sort of a crunching tunnels play or something to throw the default in for a bit of a loop, I am worried that they may be running out of ideas, which is strange to think considering the minds that are on this team. But I mean, Galaxy Racer, they have so much cash. The auto sniper actually gets a kill to start off the round.
This isn't even the last round of the half.
Yeah.
But Neo, he says the auto sniper can do something, but so can the scout. Meanwhile, unfortunately, it's Prism who's actually there with the P2K, and as crisp as he was in the first round, that's not quite the same performance right there. But... And I think it might be auto snipers all over again.
I mean, they're on an anti-eco, and Tabs is just running through the upper B smoke.
I don't know, man.
By himself. By himself.
That's the important addition, I guess. But auto snipers have been picked up, and they will be spamming down mid. Let's see if they can get some damage. The CTs are, well, they're not really tickled, but at the very least, Stomp is slightly tagged up, and it will be mildly inconvenienced. In the meanwhile, question is, can Reiko find these kills over from short? He's gotten very aggressive early on. Relax has found a kill onto Stomp, who tried to peek back down mid late into the game, but now mid's been given up in more ways than just one. The T players have also proceeded forward, and there is no one here to contest. As Reiko, he's finding himself mollied off. He'll be naded as well. That nade flies right by him.
The B players have no idea these players are here.
Yeah.
They're not even checking for it. Plus, he hasn't seen
him.
Oh, okay, Freddy finally clears it, and there it is. I don't understand. Reiko, sure, he gets in a position on short, but he cannot see that close angle, the one underneath him that allows that mid-B split. He's just, the B players are just left high and dry.
Well. Oh, Neo. Maybe not the weapon you were hoping for, Neo, but hey. If it works for you, why not? You get to have your T-side economy roleplay, but Freddy Frog will very quickly shut that down. 10-5, Galaxy Racer with the best advantage you can really hope for in a game where you're kind of floundering about it a little bit on your own side as well, realistically. They've got almost 10 rounds in a row. The only round they lost in the middle was one where I believe that was the Molotov round, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, one where the Molotov just didn't land where it should have. And yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can understand our partners at LootBet. They give the advantage to Galaxy Racer. 1.09 to 6.2. HONORIS, I mean, there were so many issues, it felt like, with that CT side. Even with Galaxy Racer making some mistakes on the T side of things, it's not able to capitalize. Oh, Relax starts things off hot as well. A nice opening kill on Reiko. And they're trying to track down the Trace, but Relaxa gets another.
Relaxa, great kill on a Prism over there. And the flashbang is here, but it might be a bit late. At this point, the CTs are in position to be able to safely back off. And when they re-peek, it's off the back of a flash of their own. So 1:20 on the clock. And Galaxy Racer will continue to aggress, and they will find the bomb as well. HONORIS, I don't even think they can get the bomb plant in this situation, and indeed they can't. Not a single kill found. The only player they actually deal damage to, if I'm not wrong, is the one without armor. So 4 players get to keep their Kevlar alive. This is the worst possible scenario.
Yeah. Although there's these leaders on HONORIS, that last round of the first half, I feel like it's just a complete mental breakdown kind of round. It can be very hard to get over sometimes these simple mistakes where you're setting yourself up for the expectation that you can bring this one back. Things like that are happening. Galaxy Racer, all the flash in towards long. Freddy Frog mows them down with the MP9, and Relaxa has him covered at range. It's a fast round on the anti-eco, a clean one for Galaxy Racer. They propel themselves further forward. And HONORIS, they'll have to buy into this. The AKs are out, the scout on Stomp to try and answer back and get this T side rolling.
unfortunately, their lack of kills will actually very significantly hamper them in their buy as well. They have much fewer flashbangs than what they'd really like to be able to afford it. Ideally, Tabs is keeping their scout at bay for a little while CT side, they're more than happy to be basically fully kitted out because of the fact that those 4 pieces of Kevlar went untouched in the pistol round. You've got essentially an additional, about $2,600 for the team. So that's quite nice to have. Oh.
Okay.
Straight from mid, Tabs is able to shut him down and gets a tag afterwards as well. So despite the incredibly weak buy, you can already see the kind of advantage that Galaxy RACER has been able to accrue.
Oh, corner spotted out by Freddy. It's a little thick for the corner. Nade will sail over, do a bit of damage. Neo's beaten past it, though. He's trying to get some space right back for the HONORIS camp. They're making their way in towards the site, so they should be able to get this one planted. But the jumping MP9, that's certainly a possibility. Freddy tries once, but... Thing is, with Whack-A-Mole, if you pop up in the same position twice, it's very easy to hit the shot. Whack you with the mallet. Still a retake situation in which HONORIS have some decent post plans.
HONORIS can definitely make something work of this. Daz, he's not had a very good game so far, but this is where he needs to step up and find that towards short, which allows his teammates to funnel over long pressure. Relax is good for one. Stomp responds, and so does Prism. These long-range duels are assisting them quite a bit, but they don't expect Wesson in his position. He's coming in with a late lurk. He's taken down one, and now there's a retake attempt coming in, but they're not in time. They can't get the defuse. And despite HONORIS losing all their players, it will be their win. However, reminder, that was the bonus round for the CT side. So they still have a full buy coming up afterwards, and HONORIS lost all their money. So somehow the CT buy is going to be better than the Terrorist.
Yeah, and you looked at the money for Stomp in this round, 48.50. He goes and commits for the glass cannon up. You can understand why. They need some big impact with this weapon. See if he can alleviate some of the pressure early on. Maybe work a pick. Because, yeah, they win the round, but it certainly comes close. If it was planted on default, I think Galaxy RACER might have just had enough time. And, well, they're still winning these opening duels on that CT side. Freddy gets the first pass, trying to track down the trade. The CTs have given up a bit more control. The tag through the edge of the wall, 3 HP on Taz. So this is a very bittersweet bit of long control, but now that Stomp's found the kill on Tabs, it gets a little bit sweeter.
Well, Relaxa. He is going to be flashed off the angle, can't finish off the kill either. The AWP has now crossed over towards Pit, and with the smoke going down from his own teammates, he will be able to back off just a little bit, play from a different angle. He wants to scope into Pit right now. Stomp's waiting for the PCAT to come through. And instead, Stomp will be the one eliminated. Relaxa plays that so incredibly well, and Stomp is just not centered into the right position. With this, the CTs are going to have a significantly easier time, but they might be gambling incorrectly. However, once the smokes come over, and they'll definitely know which side is going to be attacked.
35 seconds left. Now Molotov will slow things down. Taz is significantly low. I think there's a little bit of a gap. So Taz, he'll cross. Yeah, taken down by Pleasant. The spam is good on the second as well. Neo has to recover the bomb. He's picked up an AWP to play with as well. But round the smoke, it will be Pleasant once again, hot on his heels, making things difficult. He takes the high ground. Neo, not a chance. 13-6 for Galaxy RACER. That one round won by HONORIS, where they had 0 players left alive. It is really being felt in this round in particular. No more money to buy back into it. Galaxy RACER look very, very good to take the rest of this map forward. A B-rush?
I think it might have been the intention. However, HONORIS are nading on top of their... Sorry, not HONORIS. Galaxy RACER are nading on top of their nades, on top of their Molotov. A lot of utility deployed early on. Dezon waiting for the push to come through. Has one, has two, has three, and is it going to be the magic four? Seems like it might have been, but his bullets have run out, and he'll be re-peeking in soon enough. Neo and Taz, the old school duo, might just want to sit down and reminisce in this time.
Yeah, they get gifted the bomb by a mysterious donor. He shoots through the smoke, and it lands at their feet. Here's your package, sir. Just like all the deliveries that I've ever had. You know, you never see them. They'll say, I was here, you weren't, but I've been sitting at home all that time. You didn't text me, you didn't call me, you didn't ring my doorbell, and you want me to pick it up at some other location.
Are you sure you're talking about deliveries over here, Yumi? I feel like there's some internal angst that you've got. And you didn't call me, you didn't text me.
I just want you to send me a letter, man.
Why can't you just talk to me? But I think HONORIS need a bit of a stern talking to themselves. Relaxa has found the first kill. Prism has fallen. Taz, oh, beautiful kill from Reiko initially to come through. Pleasant will fall, but unfortunately, Pleasant's demise takes so long that they'll find Taz and take down the bomb with it. Freddy Frog, in the meanwhile, just peeking out since he knows Reiko is also in the vicinity. Stomp is good for one, but I think this might be it.
Yeah, that's a momentum play there from Galaxy Racer. They know they have that big lead. They can take a risk. It's against pistols, but they push through the tunnels. They just make sure that HONORIS don't get any surprising shots to catalyze around. I think this might be done, but we'll have to see. It had 9 in a row. It's certainly possible. It's certainly feasible. We haven't seen the signs of life from HONORIS on this T side, but maybe this is the start.
You know what? I'm gonna call it. I'm sorry, Yumi. It's done.
Yeah.
Maybe not in this round, but the game, HONORIS is not breaking this one back. Tabs, he goes down early. Maybe Neo wants to prove me wrong. He has done so in the past many times over. Daz and Neo, can they string something together? The youngsters are probably rattled out of their minds. And Neo comes in with another one, stepping up when his team needs to the most. And Galaxy Racer, in the meanwhile, they're going to have Weston scoped in across a very long distance. And Stomp will take him down. 2 versus 5. A very clean round coming out from the terrorist side. Much cleaner than anything we've seen so far. And it all comes off the back of a simple few kills from Neo.
Yep, you don't really want to chase really either on HONORIS. The money is so much more important, but Galaxy Racer, they can still afford up some nice guns into the follow-up round. Again, a blip on the radar given the lead that they've accomplished so far. Might not be this round, but rounds to follow are certainly looking bleak. This could be the start, but the chances are still very, very slim for HONORIS. It just takes one mistake or one aggro push, one disruptive play from the Galaxy Racer side to take this over the line.
And that could come off the back of their double up. Galaxy Racer. They are getting ready to erase HONORIS from the tournament. Tabs dodging flashes if there are going to be any coming his way. And it seems like the CT side is not ready for the aggressive push into a short where they've found control, but Stomp might have given away the information as they have now repositioned. Relaxa is ready from ramp. He's wanting to get more aggressive on his own. The question is, will he be caught off or will he be doing the catching of the offs?
Right, you called me out for whelmed. I'm going to call you for the catching of the offs, but will he be the one laying the bait, or will he be the fish?
Indeed. Oh, Storm backed off, and with that, Relaxa.
I think he took up the angle. Oh, no.
Oh. Yep. Relaxa knows what's coming his way. He knows the exact position of that player, and the nade is going to be terrible. surprisingly so, but he doesn't really get much. Dezon in the meanwhile takes down Taz. Blessin will see one player. He might not be checked at this point, and indeed he's not been so far. He can get 2, he can get more, but will he have gotten too greedy? He's taken too long. The bomb, Blessin might have still won them the round, but this is a lot more contestable than it should have been.
Yeah, it could be trigger discipline gone wrong, but a 2 versus 2. HONORIS trying to keep themselves in this game. The Molotov forces Raiko out of the site. They don't spot him on the cross, however, so he's getting a safe position in at Goose. Prism missing shots with the AWP. Doesn't typically wield it for the side. Freddy going to clear the close angle. Raiko going to hit the shot. It's going to become down to the wire. Desert doesn't have time for the defuse, so it's another 1 round for HONORIS, but it's another round in which no players stay alive on that T side. Still, HONORIS alive. Yeah. The money situation for either team isn't looking the brightest. There's a couple players that have got quite a lot in reserve, but...
Yeah. Still, half buy comes out from Galaxy Racer. They'll be able to buy up in the next one. They're hoping to take away some weaponry right now if they can, but for now, it is just Stomp being somewhat tagged up, and that somewhat tagged up is going to be worse for Taz as he does fall. In the meanwhile, Stomp's still being completely put at bay. Tabs finds a kill onto Reiko as well while he's at it. He's speaking out, picks up the AK-47, doesn't have armor, but doesn't need armor if you can just get headshots. But he won't get the headshot, unfortunately, so maybe he did need armor after all. Relaxa, fighting back, firing back, will deal enough damage that his teammates can now feasibly get this round win.
Yeah, both of them playing somewhat retake towards either site, trying to maintain a bit of long control, trying to keep control of the lower tunnels as well, or rather the upper tunnels over at Beat. Because Neo has been tagged down low, yeah, this could be just enough to get Galaxy Racer over the edge. We talked about how it might just be...
Ooh, okay. Look at that.
That is stylish.
That is sexy. That's a nice... That is the best utility usage we've seen so far. And Blessin might not even have realized it, but there's just enough HP. Prism has 2 HP left, and that Molotov is going to be enough.
One bullet each. That's all that's needed.
And they don't have crossing smokes. They don't have crossing smokes, but it doesn't matter.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad this game has gone on long enough that we've been able to witness that smoke at the very least. That was awesome. But
that was also the most sexy play that's had so far. So there is that. But Galaxy Racer, I don't even think they realized that smoke was there. That's the funniest part. I think Blessin was behind the car, so he didn't see it. Stomp. Early Molly comes in. He can't find anything on long.
Ooh, there's going to be a push towards the B tunnels. Blessin's playing the close angle. Relaxa now going to peel in with the AWP. And HONORIS, they're not holding the default for long enough to spot this out.
Oh. Oh. All right. Relaxa very aggressive, like you said. And Neo will fall. So early advantage given away by the terrorist side. Relaxa will be more than happy to follow up with another. And Taz now has to do a lot of dirty work, but he will just be making the work dirtier. Stomp left and will be left to die on short, leaving Prism alone. Trying to get double digits for his team has never looked harder.
Yeah, the bomb trap behind the smoke, the jump up there. Tabs has the angle. Galaxy Racer go against the odds. The map veto, we looked at it. We thought it might favor HONORIS just ever so slightly. We saw the form that Galaxy Racer started out the series, or the day with, rather, at the start of the group. But they recover. Although they make quite a few mistakes in getting